sunshine. That's not the way it's going to be. But a little rain mixed with God's sunshine, a little pain makes me appreciate the good times. God desires to fill your longings, every pain that you feel. He feels them just like you, but he can't afford to let you feel only good. Then you can appreciate the good times. Be grateful, because there's someone else that's worse off than you. Be grateful, because there's someone else that'd love to be in your shoes. Be grateful.
Grace and peace, grace and peace, grace and peace. I had to go back with this one. I had to go all the way back. Well, guess who's back? Guess who's back? We're not sure for how long, but I definitely got about 96 hours. So I just came back from the most expensive Uber ride I've ever taken in my life, $417. It is what it is. I don't even know where to begin. Now, my people's already like, now you need to get online, and if you're gonna get online, do what you're gonna do. If you want to relax for a little while before you get online, I got a lot of stuff. I need to find that plug and turn that camera on, because if I explain to y'all I gotta show y'all how it went down. So I'm away on a sabbatical. I'm up in y'all know I'm up there with them folk. I'm up there with them for all type of folk, white bottle, everything up there. Got 2 Russian dudes, Palestinian, bunch of folk from Guyana, Mexico, Venezuela, all in Europe. People coming down people from all over the country. People from all over the world that live in this country came and they were at the place, and they asking questions, and they say they're going to. I'm going, and I told y'all prior to the meet and greet, I was going to get my mind right. County Osborne, I'm thinking about everything during the interview process. And I go up in there and all the people talking and counselors, and they all doctors, this, and they all got degrees. These intelligent folk I'm around. And then the Catholic folk call and tell them, come here, we're going to talk or whatever. So they want to know what the situation is. So I'm going to tell them what the situation is. God is in me, but the devil is on me. I don't even want to start right now. So going back to the lady, I can't even lay the whole story out. Going back to one of the sisters, I got to tell you all about the classes. We got different classes. One class is like first of all, I walked in one of them offices, and the girl got 3, 4 Mexican sister, the Latin sister, Spanish sister, whatever. She got 2, 3, 4 Buddhas up there. Gonzalez, her last name, whatever that last name is. She speaks Spanish. I know that, but she speaks English too. And she got the Buddhas everywhere, and I'm looking at the little stuff all over the place. I gotta get the cord and get the camera. I'm in the city right now, but I gotta go out to the island so I can turn the cameras on. I gotta go in their studio because I want to blow it up, and I want to show y'all the stuff that I went there to start snatching stuff all up off the wall. Now, we're most excellent at it. We got to first start talking about heretics. Let me see what's going on here before I get into the whole story. Cross your legs. Breathe from your belly. You ain't breathing from your belly. And they getting into breathing and the meditation. And quiet yourself. Quiet yourself. Ooh-wee. By the time we started the whole thing, and we getting into the whole thing, and it's so deep, and this is all what you've come out here for. And it's a whole big thing. Why they almost had to call state troopers messing around. After about an hour and 15 minutes in the class, they open up and they pull out the thing. Now they hit me with the secret. I'd have been here 2 hours. Cross your legs. You got to breathe. You got to breathe like that. Oh, no. There's that lady that want that. She want a wrench. That's the lady that got her wrench on layaway. I can't even talk right now. Ella CJ, I'm trying to get my bed like you and Ella Joe. I can't even tell y'all the whole story because these other church folk coming in here. Because they going to say, thank you. They going to say, he done joined the cult. And I'm up there. And the guy said, what type of Christian are you? He's saying this to the girl, what type of Christian are you? So she want to know, what you mean, what type of Christian I am? She thinking there's only one type of Christian. No, sorry, Bob, we got to get the answer and some questions. Because when the other lady came out, and then I'm looking at her hair, I'm like, Lord, I'm trying to figure this lady Jehovah Witness, she Mormon, her hair looking like, I'm talking about these folk look like they off. She done took me back about 150 years the way she was dressing. Now she got a degree. I done checked everybody out. They got their degree. They got all of that stuff. And the stuff that she coming in, she started talking about. I'm trying to meditate. And then they got some Tai Chi over there. Then they got some tea leaves over here. And that's all type of people there. All type of people there. It was me. It was another guy that said he was involved in ministry. I ain't even tell y'all the whole story. I'm not even. It takes. I gotta turn the camera on and unpack my luggage and show y'all some of the stuff. They had a little bit of Kabbalah. They had I gotta say, they had a little bit of everything up in there. They had a little light. You gotta put the light up by your forehead so you can open up. See that y'all don't understand. I said, some of this stuff is nonsense and pseudo. He said, no, it was once pseudo. Now that guy, his class was pretty good. That other instructor, his class was pretty good when he started talking about the different parts of the brain and, your front part of the brain and your mind. Your brain is like regular muscles in your body. You can exercise different parts of the brain. Man, I'm telling y'all right now, by the time they put up that big screen and put that camera on, if it wasn't the first day, that second day when we start getting it in and me and the other guy getting ready to, I'm talking about, I think it's getting ready to be a hostage situation. They're playing with me and this other guy running his mouth about the secret and it's way above my head and I can't accept it. I said, shut up. I'm trying to meditate. Everybody quiet and they got their legs crossed and everything. We meditating. We quiet. It's quiet time. You don't want no quiet time. Let me pull up this thing right here and see what's been going on out here. Let me see what's been going on out here. We're met them at because they got that, and I know since Sheila, and I know certain folks, they're gonna go call Pastor Mike. We got some snitches in here. Somebody gonna go tell, so I'm gonna tell on myself ahead of time. I'm gonna go ahead and tell on myself. Most excellent, you gotta explain some of this right here. Let me see what's going on here first. Let's look through here. I'm just turning this laptop on. I see a little bit of, y'all can see this. I'm seeing a little bit of everything here. Y'all can say what y'all want. Donald Trump, I'm gonna leave it alone. Let me call JT Mack. Let me get a couple of these folk on here and stir them up right now. Let me call dispensation. And I said I wasn't gonna say no names. I said I'm coming back a new man. I'm not gonna be saying no names because folk get aggravated and folk get to start to complaining. And I want to show y'all, I want to turn the camera on because I want to show y'all the notes that I took from up there and how everything went down. Then I want to show y'all when I turned my phone on 2-3 hours ago and how that thing was going off and what all of this stuff is saying. Well, Ebu say we the people of Israel. I want to talk about Donald Trump. I want to talk about a lot of stuff, but let me just see. Let me see what we got. We got a lot of stuff going on here. All right, that face looked familiar. All right. Oh, that was a test they were doing. Okay, let me go on down here and see what else I see going on down here. The curse. What happened after death? NT right. All right, a month ago. Say boom, church. Wake up, America. Everybody want America to wake up now. All of this stuff means everything. Jewish prep. Oh, yeah. All right. That's what he's on. Somebody else sent me something that he was saying about the Pastor Kelly posted about Fred Price's son. I'm gonna tell y'all something about this ministry and all this stuff. I'm gonna just go ahead and go live. The spiritual reality of voting. Like Van Imp and them used to do it. Everybody's looking at the news and they talking about the prophetic and all of this other stuff. Ooh, it's a lot. It's a lot. Let me put this out there and see. There he is right there. How he get a wrench? Wait a minute. What's going on here? What y'all been doing since I've been gone? What y'all been doing since I've been gone? We got to straighten this out. Most excellent. Matter of fact, where that name even come from? Most excellent what's his name? Most excellent what? What's that name in the back? Nobody say nothing. Nobody say nothing. I'm looking for Lanky. Where Israel descent at? Where most excellent Theophilus? Where that even come from? That Bible? Is that Bible? Nobody. I'm asking Israel descent. Y'all ain't gonna get in here and start doing what y'all want to do and get to helping out other people. No, matter of fact, let me go to the other pastor video first. Wait a minute. I know he on that truck somewhere. He ain't got to pull over. Now, if you've been delivering them packages on time, don't start when we get back live. And now you slowing down with the packages, pulling over, trying to help these folk and answer some questions. Let me pull this thing up right here. I think this one is only 20 minutes. See what this guy's talking about. Bishop sits in there. Let me call. I'm gonna call her. I'm gonna call her and tell her that I need
Okay, so I have DNA evidence that I'm an Israelite.
Okay.
Now watch this. You think I'm the only one in this room? You think I'm the only one in this room? You think I'm the only one in this room? Now I want to get into the fun stuff. Israel was already important to me, but now it is so much more.
Oh boy, these folk are most excellent. He said Israel was already important to him. I'm waiting for Israel descent to tell me where most excellent Theophilus, where that name, where we even see that name at. You heard what I said? You said you hit Leo. Let me look. Let me stop looking at my phone and focus on one thing at a time. Where that come from? Israel descent.
And here's why. Now these images will be ready.
I told Karen
these images will be ready.
Oh man, I can't help.
All I got to do is call out the number. Okay, here we go. Let's put up first image number 9. We put up image number 9,
Wait a minute. Let me
please.
go. Oh, he's a
There we go. So we have an amazing media and audio team, by the way. This image came up quickly because I sent them this image. So maybe I should have sent them the map that I wanted them to show.
Wait a minute. Yo, man, go find that right now. I told y'all this is the longest I've been. Matter of fact, I didn't even hit that. Let me see. I gotta let my phone. I gotta let everything charge up. Everything was off. Everything was off. Damon Richardson just did a live on Israel priority and eschatology and how it was invented by Europeans. Ooh-wee. Now, I can't lie. I don't know where he get that from, but I believe that, and I believe that for a reason. I believe that. Oh, Sister Davis, let me find out the other day. I think you was the last person I talked to, or the last person I texted when I was walking in that building. Weeks back. Let me see if I can find that other video, because this getting ready to be a problem. Yeah, a lot of people don't know. Europe has influenced a lot of stuff. And some folk gonna be mad, and they're gonna say it's just Bible. We bother Bruce. I might as well bother everybody. I said I was gonna come back different. I said I had my legs crossed and I was breathing. Breathe in, breathe out from your belly, straight out the back. I'm like, oh my goodness, these folk don't know. But we're gonna leave it alone. We're gonna leave it alone. I'm not gonna talk about that right now, because more important things right now besides my craziness with these new age. They're all type of.
Well, the only reason I didn't is because you all remember during the pandemic how many maps I was showing. Okay, so I thought they'd just go in the vault and get one, but that's okay. All right, what are we looking at here? We are looking at Pastor Fred Price's 23andMe. This is my 23andMe. What do we have here? West African, 54%. What tops that list? Nigerian. Niger's in the building, clearly. All right. 27.5%. That's over a quarter Nigerian. What follows? Ghanaian, Liberian, and Sierra Leonean. All right. And this is broadly West African, 4.6%. Congolese and Southeast African, 6.3%. Angolan and Congolese, 5.8%. 0.5%. Broadly Congolese and Southern East African, broadly Sub-Saharan African, 0.7%. And then here's the white side of me right here, under. That's a high number. Look at that, 36.3. That's right, represent. Go right ahead. I'm 1/4 British. When I went to London last year, I told every Brit I ran into, I'm 1/4 British. I'm 1/4 British. I'm also 3% Irish and 3% Scottish. I'm 30% UK. Now, some of you have done this. You've done your 23andMe. You've done your ancestry, so you know what you're made up of. A little bit of French and German. Our family thought we would have more French because my father's middle name was French. And it was daddy's daddy or daddy's granddaddy that was a full Frenchman. Who was the daddy's grandfather was a full-blooded Frenchman. So we thought we would have had more French. Nevertheless, this is my 23andMe. Again, the highest percentage is Nigerian. Well, that kind of makes sense. Matter of fact, you see how much of this whole percentage is West African.
Yes, Israel descent. Yes. But I see Terrence Jones went and said that. Now he admit he's paternally French. Fred Price descended from Europeans. No. I believe his father said that back in the days, 36%. Now, DNA, well, we'll hear him. I thought you were sending me something on the med drive, but somebody do me a favor. Give me Damon Richardson video. Said he was just doing that a couple of days ago. Yeah, somebody said he was doing talking about Israel and how that, I guess, maybe that dispensationalism, you would say, come from Europeans.
Because those of us who are
now what some people say some of that is conspiracy, but when we start talking about Ashkenaz, and I don't know if that stuff is clearly explained. I heard what Dr. Brown said. They just saw the name, and people want to know about Ashkenaz and Genesis 10. who you know involved in apologetics that have a video dealing with Genesis 10 and the term? Because more and more people are digging and looking at some radical Christian preachers that might have felt the same way that they say some Israelites feel about European Jewry.
Descendants of slaves. Well, where do we come from? Or where did our forefathers come from?
Let's see what he's talking about. Because you come from Nigeria, you automatically Israel. Let's see where you go. Let me let the man talk.
Came from West Africa. So this makes sense. So again, you're 23andMe. If you are what the world would call a black person living in this country who would be a descendant of slaves, your numbers possibly look like this. Now, it depends on your shade of brown or black. That would determine how much European you have in you. Okay, as you can see, I'm what some would call high yellow or maybe golden or so anyway, all right. Words like quadroon and octoroon, we don't use words like that. When you're 1/4 black or 1/8 black, etc. Okay. That's a whole lot of stuff in me. That's a whole lot of nations, whole lot of cultures in me. I got Shem, Ham, and Japheth in me. And many of you do as well. Okay. Now, again, this is my what? This is my 23andMe. But for a while now, I've been wanting to look even beyond that. I've been wanting to go ancient. And I found it. Let's do this now. Please put up image number.
What's up, Stevie? Now he said he found it. Let's see where he's going. Let's see what he give us. Some people have been saying that Israel and individuals have been so mixed up. How can you come through and say that you're plural blood or you come from here and there? Let's see what evidence or what research or what he's been doing, and then we'll go and see what that other brother's saying about Israel.
Image number 3. All right, this is what we see here. Let me read it to you. This is my DNA that goes beyond and before 23andMe. And I'll explain to you the difference in this kind of testing and what Ancestry and similar companies do. Neolithic Southeast African, 81.1%. That makes sense. Except you have to consider Africa in its ancient day. European bell beakers says 6.7%. I don't know what a bell beaker is. In most cases, I would look up something like this, but I tell you what, they're European. And right under that, it says Israelite, 5%. I want to sit there for a second. This is my DNA. And it says Israelite. It says Israelite. This is my DNA. This is not theory. This is DNA. 5%. Okay. Now let's look at this. Again, I love Israel. Always have. Why? Well, I'm called to walk in love because God is love. And the Bible commands us to love his elect of old. But when you find out you're one of them, now again, let me be very clear. I am pro Messiah before I'm pro anything else. I want you to be clear about that. That comes first. But when I look at Paul's writings, I see that while he promotes it first and says it is of the utmost importance, he doesn't forget his ethnicity. Are you still here? Okay. Here's what we're going to look at next. Oh, this one's put up image number 1. This is called the 50 regions test. By the way, this website is called ancientdnaorigins.com. ancientdnaorigins.com. East Africans, 36%. West Africans, 30%. Now, if you looked at my 23andMe, my West African was 54%. But how come my ancient DNA shows East Africa as the highest percentage, because way back then, you have to remember, there was only a North and Northeastern Africa. Matter of fact, it wasn't even called Africa. It was the lands of Ham. South Africans, 12.3%. Central Africans, 9.1%. This West, this South, and Central Africans, I believe, based on research, they all came from Abraham. Abraham had a third wife in Genesis 25. Her name was Keturah. And through her, he populated the remainder of the continent we call Africa. But look on this.
Wait a minute. And we appreciate you, Red Letter. This my man right here. Look at this. She ain't even saying we are much. He said, I told y'all we're a bunch of mutts, and Christ will cleanse the blood of the true followers. Where my jacket? Where my jacket? We can't even come in here. We can't even come in here without beefing. Now, he gonna cleanse the blood based on what passage was that? Out in the wilderness, he gonna cleanse it? Now, man, I'll put the link out there. I'm thinking you was gonna jump on. I want everybody to pause and think about how a pastor over a church can have this as one of his services. We've gotten far from historic Christianity. He's gonna take me back. He's gonna take me back to the girl and the guy making the comment. What type of Christian are you? People would usually say, well, and then, you would hear, people would think, well, maybe he's mistaken. He's asking, what type of Christian are you? You're confused because some people say, well, what type of Christian are you? Are you Baptist? Are you Catholic? And people have a little bit of confusion. I think we may need to take some time and talk about that. She said, I'm a born again Christian. She thinks everybody is a born again Christian. We need to talk about that right there. I'm going to put the link out here. There. Pastor, my might be listening, but he don't get on the organ until a certain time. He'll run up and jump on the organ real quick. Most Excellent said that he ran and jumped on the organ. Because this pastor is talking about his ethnicity and who he is. She said, I'm a born-again Christian, talking to the guy from, this place I just left. And the guy, and he was like, now, we got to understand when we got the term born-again Christian is not in the Bible. Like black Hebrew Israelite or Hebrew Israelite not in the Bible. The word Bible not in the Bible. But the term born again and Christian come from two passages in the Bible. John 3. Jesus talking to Nicodemus, a Pharisee, a ruler of the Jews, came to Jesus by night. And he said, Master, we know that thou art a teacher that come from God, for no man can do these miracles except God be with them. And then Jesus goes on to say, that which is born of flesh is flesh, and that which is born of spirit is spirit. You must be born again. He said, how can a man, prior to that, I just quoted the other verse, but prior to that, he said, how can a man be born again? Can he go back inside of his mother and come back out of his mother's belly, his mother's womb? That's the word the King James Bible used. And he said, aren't you a ruler in Israel? How you don't know this stuff? So Jesus spoke about a born again experience, and those people that were preaching and living out that experience later on in Acts 11:26, we see the word Christian. So you'll hear evangelicals, certain type of believers pressing certain things, and they'll press things like being born again. Are you born again? People say, well, I grew up in church, and we hear so many people saying, I grew up in church. The other guy said, I remember when I found out I was Israel, and I fell down crying. I said, when you got born again? He said, I guess I got born again at that time. Come on, man. Come to the microphone. We got to read some scriptures on this stuff.
Grace and peace, man. Good.
Why you got a problem talking about history? Black power.
Who, me?
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Let me go ahead. Let me call for cross-examine before you start your stuff.
Yeah, man. Grace and peace, man. Good to see you back, bro.
Good to be back.
Oh yeah. You had asked me to jump on. What you want me to talk about?
No, but you made a statement. I want you hold on with that for a minute. Wait, who's this right here? Who's this right here? Francis, come to the microphone. Hold on, man.
Yeah, hello.
Hello, hi. Well, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I just turned to the channel.
Uh-huh.
I'm a little confused as what is it? What he was reading there? Where's that information coming from?
That's his DNA. That was his DNA.
From where? Because I've never seen DNA tests give results like that before, so I'm a little confused.
Okay, hold on. Don't go anywhere. Go ahead, Matt. Let me pull that video up and go back a little bit to the screen when he first pulled up the screen. Go ahead, Matt. I'll mute myself.
Yeah, we just want me to make a comment about the priority of Israel and
How the
eschatology.
church know how? Yeah, you could just speak on that if you saw it. But how the church have gone so far? You feel the church have gone far from historic Christianity?
Well, I mean, let me not say the church. Let me just say some churches, and it does seem like you have to think about it. You see all of the condemnations in the prophets. You see condemnations from Jeremiah about the shepherds who have scattered the flock of God, and you have a lot of quote unquote pastors who, I guess, if we get into the qualifications for a pastor and what exactly makes someone a pastor, we may agree that they're not even pastors in the biblical sense. But you have people that are over the flock, people that are over churches, that are calling themselves pastors, that have churches, that are supposed to be responsible for giving people sound doctrine, and you're basically having entire services that are dedicated to, let me show you my DNA. So that means at that particular service, the people came to hear was the ethnicity of their pastor. That's it. They didn't come to receive biblical instruction. They didn't come to see how to live out their faith, how to face difficulties, or how they didn't come to learn anything about sound doctrine or anything of that nature. They came to figure out that their pastor, according to him, which is still strange because he would have to put forth a definition of how he knows he's an Israelite, and just saying that I come from Nigeria doesn't make anybody an Israelite. But
Not at all. That's
yeah,
that's that's the thing that's scaring
yeah.
me.
And then most people hold to a paternal definition, and he just admitted that he comes from Europeans on his father's side. So most people are going to exclude him anyway, as far as the Israelite spectrum is concerned, because most people hold to a patrilineal definition. But nevertheless, the entire service is dedicated to, let me show you my DNA results. And it's just it's really heartbreaking when you think about it, that people are in service thinking that this is instruction, this is necessary, this is important. I have to figure out who I am in order to be important to God. I have to figure out who I am to know what's going to happen in the future. And
Let me
I
call
was just
fervent
pointing that
charity.
out.
All right,
Mhm.
let me call fervent charity. Somebody give me a timestamp on that video. He said he's
Yeah,
talking good. Listen to Roger. He said it's unfortunate that some individuals prioritize ethnic identity over their spiritual identity. Sister
yeah.
Sylvia, good to see you. And you
I'm gonna
agree
say
with that?
Yeah, I agree with that. I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna get back to the route. If I got to, I'll jump back on. But
Okay.
it just shows how we seem to operate from a deficit. We operate from a place where we lack self-esteem. We lack confidence in ourselves. It seems like not growing up for many of us with fathers in the home has just played such a crucial role in our lives. White supremacy has done such a number on us that we need an identity to feel confident in who we are. And I was looking at, since you brought up the election, one of the things that Kamala did was she gave us people like Glorilla. So
That's disrespect.
yeah,
A lot of black people feel that's disrespectful.
but it's because it's like you try to appeal to our identity. Just make them dance. And if you make
Yep.
them dance, then you got their vote, because
Come on.
don't appeal to their mind, appeal
Come on.
to how they dance, appeal to their culture. And it just seems like it sets us up for failure a lot of times, because we fall behind. We're missing out. There's people that's making so much money off of different things going on with the stock market, and we often miss out on things because we don't have access to certain information, because our focus is on, show me my identity. So I'd rather look at somebody that's going to talk about their moose knuckle and how to bend over and bust it open, right, as opposed to sitting down having a thought-provoking conversation about how we should advance as a people. And we
Boy,
just
he talk Pastor Mama. I gotta ride with you. He talking real good.
Yeah,
All
so
right, he talking real good. All right,
it
come
just
on.
all right.
What?
Now I'm just gonna say, it just sets us back, and it just keeps us perpetuating some of these things to where we'll just sit around and we'll just complain for another 4 or 5 years, and we just never get anywhere, and we end up in the same cycle.
Yeah, and literally, I spoke and said that she paid them all. Yeah, she paid them all off.
Yeah.
You can see the phone, or you want me to read this for you?
I could read it. Yes, you must know who you are. It's important enough that God would strip it. And the key marker that shows the return of peace, remembering who we are, that is script. Identity is very important. Yeah, we just disagree on that. I mean, we could go over the verses that people think support that. We can talk about that, or what have you. There's so many verses, But I mean, you see that there's a constant condemnation all throughout Scripture of Israel not following justice and righteousness, and it has nothing to do with their ethnicity. It has to do with God calling them towards obedience, where God says over and over again, "I prefer obedience over rather than
Sacrifice.
sacrifice."
Come on.
We can see people coming into the covenant, like Caleb, who is a Gentile. He comes into the covenant. We can see prophecies in Zechariah chapter number 8, where it talks about that men would grab the skirt of him who is a Jew, and that's talking about the gospel and the message going forth to all nations. We could look at Psalm chapter number 82, where it talks about God being the ruler over all the nations and all people worshiping him and coming into a knowledge of who he is. So the ultimate theme of Scripture is that God wants people to come into a knowledge of who he is, and so that they could worship him. Even Israel's the purpose of Israel's deliverance from Egypt is not because of, God can reveal their identity. They know who they are. God sets them free so that they can worship him. So it was always about being set free to worship God in spirit and in truth.
And
But
then
yeah, we
being a
can
light to the Gentiles. Come on, talk about it. He talking good right there. All right, man.
yeah.
Appreciate you.
All
Jump
right.
back on if you can. Israel
I will.
Descent, you want to say something before I play? Somebody give me a timestamp on the video. I think he said it was his 23andMe. Go ahead, Israel Descent.
I just wanted to say, why people always saying it's a problem when black people try to find their identity. That's what I'm hearing. Everybody else know their identity but us. What's the problem?
Met, would you like to say anything?
So, Brother Berean, I can ask you a question?
No, you could address everybody else, but ask me. But go ahead.
When have you ever seen a 23andMe test tell you anything about being an Israelite and talking
Never.
about anybody else?
The word Israelites never, no 23. And I've seen a few of them. Never, ever, ever. No, I want to make sure. I want to go to that part in the screen. Hold on, what Israel is saying. No, you start your nonsense.
People
Because
do it
Israel is trying to
like
get to laughing and saying stuff, but ain't explaining. You got to explain. I can't believe this. That's what Israel is trying to do. I can't believe this. You can't believe what? Articulate. When you laughing, what's the matter? Have you seen is he asking a crazy question? Have y'all ever seen a 23andMe? Give me the timestamp, Terrence Jones. Where
no,
else is it? With
I was
that
just
chip?
saying the pastor do anything for clicks.
How? But wait a minute. What you say? What you said? You think this is game? He just doing it for clicks?
Yes, bro just pointed out a key fact. He doing that for clicks, man.
Oh, see that? All right, it was the same, a little different. All right, he said he doing it for clicks, y'all. Go. Well, let me. Somebody give me a timestamp. I gotta try to find where he first pulled the screen up.
This is called the 50 regions test. By the way, this website is called ancientdnaorigins.com. Ancientdnaorigins.com.
Ancientdnaorigins.com. Was it before this part here? Do I have to go back a little more?
Why don't you, Brother Berean? Did you
Hold
pull
on,
up?
Berean TV. The first test was 23andMe, and the second one that said Israelite was Ancient DNA. Yes. Same site that gave Muck Runner the 2. Oh, now who's controlling that site, Seminary Cove? I'm mute Israel Descent. Go ahead, Brother Francis. Go ahead. I'm gonna try to go ahead and talk. I'm gonna try to do something. I'm gonna try to see if
Did you pull that website up to see if that has anything to do with DNA testing? Because I just looked it up and I didn't see anything about DNA testing on there.
Ancient origins. That's it. That's not what he just said, Seminary Cove. Hold on.
That's exactly what he said. He said ancient origins.
All right, hold on. That sounds like, I ain't gonna lie, that sounds like some folk done went and that sounds like some other folk done went and made up. Let me see. All right. Ancient origins, DNA. I should have put all of that together. But let me see what come up when I hit that. My true ancestry. Hold on. Berean, 28-minute mark. It's along the video. Okay, all right. Let me see. 28. Plus, I think I got ancient origin 28. The 28, we didn't get to the 28-minute mark. Wait, let me see what he's saying. Hold on, let me go back to this video. Let me read. Berean, it's 28-minute mark. It's a long. It's all right. It's further down. 28 minutes is.
It comes from Ham, not Shem.
Anyone ever heard of the?
This shows you how folk on day one were mixing and mingling.
Okay, you say you're talking about the other video. All right, you say you're talking about the other video. Let me go back.
I told every Brit I ran into, I'm 1/4 British. I'm 1/4 British. I'm also 3% Irish and 3% Scottish. I'm 30% UK. Now, some of you have done this. You've done your 23andMe. You've done your ancestry, so you know what you're made up of. A little bit of French and German. Our family thought we would have more French because my father's middle name was French. And it was daddy's daddy or daddy's granddaddy that was a full Frenchman. Who was the daddy's grandfather was a full-blooded Frenchman. So we thought we would have had more French. Nevertheless, this is my 23andMe. Again, the highest percentage is Nigerian. Well, that kind of makes sense. Matter of fact, you see how much of this whole percentage is West African, because those of us who are descendants of slaves, well, where do we come from, or where did our
wait a minute? You talking about Pastor Kelly? You said, wait a minute, this is high conversation. After him and Benaiah interviewed him, talking about the that other scholar, Iran, they denounced him because they found out his site called Jews more Israelites than them. These are problems here, y'all. So, and if pastors are starting to spread this, then it's all based on this is not a good look.
I found the site, Brother Berean.
You on the desktop?
Yeah, I found the site.
Pull it up. Pull it up. So pull yours up so I can, because what I got may not be. I don't know which one it is.
Now here's the thing. I'm on my laptop.
But no, it'll work.
But here what? I'm talking to you on my phone, so I don't know if I could share from my cell phone.
Okay. All right, y'all. All right, hold on.
What I would have to do,
go out and come back in on the laptop.
Okay, I'm gonna
I'll
do that.
put the link back out.
I'm gonna do that, but the sound quality for me might not be so good, but I'm gonna do it anyway.
Okay, all right. If not, could he share the screen and still talk on the phone without an echo?
I think I think what I'll do, I'm gonna share the screen. I'm gonna mute it, and then I'm just gonna talk on the phone.
No, I left my phone. All right, go ahead. Try whatever you want to. However you want to. Let me see. If it come up, I'll pull it up. Let me see. Kobe just sent me.
Okay. You can pull it up though. You should be able to pull it up.
No, if it's this one here. Look. Wait and tell me if this the same thing you're seeing on your screen.
Share it and I'll let you know.
Right here. Ancient origins.
Go back.
Down.
I figured. Try that one. The second one. Tap on it and see what you get. That is it right there.
This is what this is it here. Okay.
Right. So you can you can read it and see what it says, because I've never heard of this before.
Now, who are these people here? I see Emory University, the one underneath this. Let me just go down. I've never been on this here before. Let me see, Kofi. I'm trying to do two things that.
I don't know. So.
Never take a. Whatever it is.
So I guess the only way we're gonna know what it is if we take one of the tests and find out what it is. Because I've never seen a test.
Yeah.
I've never seen a test like that before. And some ain't looking right to me.
Hold on a second. My thing act like it's Let me play this. Hold on, give me a second, y'all. Let me go back and play this thing. Because this, unless somebody can tell me where.
Saying like they want you to spend some money.
Yeah. Changed the name to Ancient DNA Hub. They changed the name to Ancient DNA Hub. All right, foundational. You want to say something on this? Let me play this. Hold on, give me a second, y'all. Let me go back and play this thing. Because this, unless somebody can tell me where. Yeah, you have to turn. You have to. No, he I think that's him. That wasn't you, right? Francis, that wasn't you.
That what? What happened?
That was playing a video where I heard my echo. I think when I brought this other brother on, I'm gonna have to. All right, let me go back to this and do something real quick.
Nah, this. I don't know. I don't like the way this looks, you know.
Sense. So again, you're 23andMe. If you are what the world would call a black person living in this country who would be a descendant of slaves, your probably look like this. Now, it depends on your shade of brown or black. That would determine how much European you have in you. Okay, as you can see, I'm what some would call high yellow or maybe golden or. So anyway, all right. Words like quadroon and octoroon, we don't use words like that. When you're 1/4 black or 1/8 black, etc. Okay. That's a whole lot of stuff in me. That's a whole lot of nations, whole lot of cultures in me. I got Shem, Ham, and Yafeth in me, and many of you do as well. Okay. Now, again, this is my what? This is my 23andMe. But for a while now, I've been wanting to look even beyond that. I've been wanting to go ancient. And I found it. Let's do this now. Please put up image number 3.
Okay, image number 3. Right here.
All right. This is what we see here. Let me read it to you. This is
the one, Seminary Code. This is the one right here. That have the word Israel. Oh.
This is my DNA that goes beyond and before 23andMe. And I'll explain to you the difference in this kind of testing and what Ancestry and similar companies do. Neolithic Southeast African, 81.1%. That makes sense. Except you have to consider Africa in its ancient day. European bell beakers says 6.7%. I don't know what a bell beaker is. In most cases, I would look up something like this, but I tell you what, they're European. And right under that, it says Israelite, 5%. I want to sit there for a second. This is my DNA. And it says Israelite. It says Israelite. This is my DNA. This is not theory. This is DNA. 5%. Okay. Now let's look at this.
So what you think? This was the first site that used the term Israel, not Israeli, Israelite? Seminary Code said, listen, Francis, the masters in Israel, these YouTubers, these teachers just leading out in the awakening, first told us about this site. They said it can tell you who Israel is.
Again, I love Israel. Always have. Why? Well, I'm called to walk in love because God is love.
So,
and the Bible commands us to love his elect of old. But when you find out you're one of them, Now again, let me be very clear. I am pro Messiah before I'm pro anything else. I want you to be clear about that. That comes first. But when I look at Paul's writings, I see that while he promotes it first and says it is of the utmost importance, he doesn't forget his ethnicity. Are you still here? Okay.
Somebody clip that, said at the most excellent.
Here's what we're going to
look. What most excellent got to say about that.
Look at next. Oh, this one is.
I heard Fervor Chatty say the same thing.
This one's is. Put up image number 1. This is called the 50 regions test. By the way, this website is called ancientdnaorigins.com. Ancientdnaorigins.com.
That's it.
East Africans, 36%. West Africans, 30%. Now, if you looked at my 23andMe, my West African was 54%. But how come my ancient DNA shows East Africa as the highest percentage? Because way back then, you have to remember, there was only a North and Northeastern Africa. Matter of fact, it wasn't even called Africa. It was the lands of Ham. South Africans, 12.3%. Central Africans, 9.1%. This West, this South, and Central Africans, I believe, based on research, they all came from Abraham. Abraham had a third wife in Genesis 25. Her name was Keturah. And through her...
Let me ask you a question. What is the point of his DNA test? Is he trying to prove he's an Israelite?
Yes.
Does that make sense to you, Brother Berean?
Not to me, no. But to many
Right.
people it does. To many people it does.
So now you are an individual who has been a Christian for how many years of your life? And you hear this man.
A good while.
Right. And you hear this man coming on here using terms like Ham, Shem, and Japheth. When has anyone ever proven that these are actual people? If I'm wrong, you correct me.
I think we have an issue with that. Yeah. Church, what you know? Who said that? Who just said that?
That's me. This Lance, Brother Brian.
Have an issue with what?
Whether if Ham, Shem, and Japheth is real characters, not their names, but the characters themselves. That
the church is fitting that. I know a lot of pastors that I know. They don't read the text that way. A lot of pastors I know don't read the text that way. So
what
people
do you
are
think?
some believe they are, some believe they aren't.
So what do you think, Brother Berean? Do you think that these were real people that existed? Or they were just biblical characters?
I would have to. Yeah, that's a more. Yeah. I have to go with the people in the pews. People in the pews believe that.
Yes, they did. They existed. Probably not the names. We even have the names of Ham inside of the Mesopotamian faiths. So we
wait a minute. This voice sounds familiar. What's your other name?
This Lance, bro. This is the one that be Garfield in them every time I come. Uncle Lance.
All right, go ahead.
Look.
Hold on a minute. Read that for me right there. Yes, yeah. Oh, little mother. Of course, you know I'm gonna say yes.
This site doesn't prove you're Israel, but a year ago, it was more than enough proof for the leaders in the awakening. Interesting how it changed.
But how you? But no. Because but Kofi, how can you say that it's changed? Hold on a minute. How can you say that it's changed when Fred Price is using it? Who said it changed? They don't agree with it, but they will. You're not in Francis. You Israel?
None of us are Israelites. You can't prove that you're.
No. Hold on. Don't say that.
Don't say none of us, bro. Don't say none.
You is? Oh well, no. Israel descendants Israel.
Definitely.
But the guys ain't Israel. They're not saying that.
He just said that. That's what Fred Price Jr. just said. The DNA testimony.
And he's leaning to because of information that Benaiah and other people are putting out. I'm not saying Fred Price getting it directly from him, but more and more people are saying it. So more and more people are believing it. And before I left, from months back, we've been showing bishops and pastors and leaders that's believing that they're Israel now too.
Yeah, it ain't. We know who we are, bro. Man,
believe doesn't mean.
Hold on, brother.
Believe doesn't mean you know, huh? Believe doesn't mean you know. Believe doesn't mean you know.
I agree with all of that. I never claim Israel. I'm not claiming Israel. Israel descent, he believes he's Israel, and a lot of people are. Let me let him
He
play.
doesn't believe that.
I want to get
He doesn't believe that. He's
Israel
scamming people.
descent.
He don't believe that. He's scamming people. He don't believe that.
Speak for yourself. Hey, don't speak false.
Not you. I'm not you, brother. I'm talking about Fred Price.
He just talking. He talking.
Oh,
about
you don't think? Why would you think he don't believe that? Why would you say that?
He's a scammer. His
talking
father was a scammer.
Oh, that's different. You're saying that because you just believe, like Israel Descent said, he's just using the subject for clicks because he knows hot right now.
No,
that's what you're saying?
A scammer. He's a scammer. He's a false pastor like his father who's looking for money. He don't believe that.
So you think he don't believe it, but he's just saying it because people believe it.
And you know I say he don't believe it? Because if he was serious about what he's saying, he would never come on here and talk about Ham, Shem, and Japheth with a DNA test. Because no DNA test that I've ever taken said Ham, Shem, or Japheth on it.
No, historians don't even write. No, they don't talk like that. But as a religious pastor, he's going to do that to speak to the people in the pew.
Because he's flim-flamming people. He can't prove Ham, Shem, or Japheth. He can read the Bible all he wants. There's no proof outside of the Bible that there's any man called Ham, Shem, or Japheth. With all due respect to those who believe. Believe doesn't mean you know. It means somebody told you something and you accept it based on your faith.
So you know. So let me ask you a question. You know Noah didn't exist. You know that?
I'm going to say this to be fair because I've seen you speak before Brother Barine on Sunday and I respect you. So I'm not going to say anything out of line. I'm just going to say I don't think there's any archaeological proof to say that these people existed for sure. And I'm only saying that because I'm speaking to you and I have respect for you. And I know you're a reasonable person who was not one of those Bible thumping people. So I'm just going to tone down my argument because I'm speaking to you. And only because
okay, y'all hear that? You hear that, little mother? There's no archaeological proof. What would you say to that?
I got to be Garfield friend.
Why I got to be Garfield? You know Garfield? I hung up from Garfield not a little while ago.
Wait a minute. Did he just say he has to bring Garfield for me?
He said you got to be Garfield's friend.
No.
You don't know who Garfield is?
No. I don't know.
You don't know who Garfield is?
I know the individual. As far as from YouTube, but he's not my personal friend and I don't know him.
Okay. All right.
Brother Berea, the brothers lead us to believe that he studies. He said there is no archaeological evidence outside of the Bible of any Ham, Shem, and Japheth, or Noah, for the matter. And he digressed. But I would have to argue that you don't read enough information to know that, because alone I've found and discovered Noah's name in the Mesopotamian artifacts. His name is Upnapishtim. I found Ham, C-H-A-M.
No. We're not even getting into that right there. But I understand what he's saying also.
No, Brother Barry, let him show it.
Good to see you, Sister Cross-Examined. No. We ain't getting into that right here. I want to play this right here. We ain't getting into that.
He populated the remainder of the
he's
continent we
what
call
that
Africa.
Mean? Hold on a minute.
But look on this region's percentage.
Wait a minute. Red letter. Oh, Father God, let me get to playing this video right here because I don't want to get thrown off. I said I was going to do this much talking. He's Jamaican. What does that mean? Because he have a West Indian accent. I mean, and Garfield got a West Indian accent. They got to know each other.
We see Northwestern Asians 3.2, North Persians 3%, Israelites 1.3%. It's a different kind of test. If you're wondering why the other one showed 5% and this one showed 1.3%, it's a different kind of test because I'm about to show you something else.
And for the record, we don't have, when they start talking about archaeological proof or anthropological proof and all of that stuff, we don't have that for 90% of the people living on the planet that ever lived on the planet, including Socrates and them, Plato and Aristotle and all them good folk. Hold on. Let me see if them guys that had on, because some other guys said, send him here. We want to talk to him when I was up there. Let me see what this Jesuit wants.
Hey, thank you for having this Jesuit on. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, yeah, you sound good.
Let me just first and foremost, in keeping with your title, it's good to see you back. You were very much missed.
Yes, thank you.
So regarding...
Start with this before you even get into it. Start with that. European don't mean white.
Sure, I'll agree with that. I mean, I'm sure that, in antiquity and millennia past, there were probably many Europeans, just like there are today, who wouldn't fit modern American notions of that, Like Cheddar Man is
And
probably the famous
somebody else, I
example
see
from
when I
antiquity.
opened up the email, somebody sent me a few videos when blacks ruled Europe or something like that. But go ahead. I'll be right back. I can hear you. I'm just stepping a few feet away.
No problem. I just wanted to comment on this Fred Price thing. And, I'm at work, so I may have missed a few things. Maybe you or someone in the chat can let me know if I'm covering something which was already covered. But what I was going to say regarding Fred Price, this is an example where definitions are important. So when someone's saying this person is an Israelite, it really depends on what their definition is. Are they using a patrilineal definition, et cetera? It seems clear that Fred Price was using a multilineal definition where any line of descent is sufficient. And I've been saying for a long time, if that's the open-ended definition you're going to use, there's nothing implausible. I would say it's probable that he fits that definition, and so too most other people. On the other hand, another thing that's worthy of note is, and I don't know if this got brought up either, in that video he clearly recognizes the mainstream community as also Israel. And again, if you're using a multilineal definition, it seems like the overwhelming majority of them would get in as well. So that's what I wanted to share, but I don't know if anyone else covered that already. Maybe I'll just look at the chat to see if that came up. Oh.
No, I don't think so. Hold on. Let me see. Israel Descent may want to on. You want to say something, Israel Descent? Gregory Day was good.
No, I agree with what he just said.
Thank you.
You agree? Oh, wow. Okay. All right. I'll let it play then.
Show you my Hebrew percentage. Isn't that the same as Israelite? Not in origin.
Abu, tell the truth. Tell the truth in your humble opinion. This is all nonsense. So this all these people speaking as experts on DNA and attempting to prove something. This is all nonsense. Basically, Met came and said this is beyond the scope of the Bible. This ain't really got nothing to do with nothing. Dealing with salvation. I see what Damon Richardson said.
Oh, I agree. I think even Fred Price would agree with you that this has nothing to do with salvation. What I would say is, I don't know if I'd call it nonsense. What I would say is that he's using Eran El Hayek's Ancient DNA Origins website. And I would be careful to note that website doesn't necessarily establish ancestry in the categories that it lists. But again,
so why did Richardson, not Richardson, why Kelly and them ran to get this guy on? Like
that's the funny thing.
That's
the funny thing. Kelly and Benaiah were apparently excited about Fred Price getting a reading for Israel on Ancient DNA Origins, but just a couple of months prior, they were trashing that same platform because when it comes to that Israelite category, Ashkenazim typically score way higher than than African Americans typically do in that Israelite category. And so they were saying, oh, it's pseudo and blah, 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 and they were attacking the site. Now they're excited about it because of Fred Price. I guess they're excited because it's good for clicks and views, and he has a big platform apparently. But with all due respect to the good doctor, it's hard to think that we can expect him to be consistent on this kind of stuff. But nonetheless, I don't think what Fred Price is saying is necessarily absurd. Like, he's holding to a multilineal view. It's very wide open. It can encompass a lot of people. I'd say the majority of the West African diaspora and the majority of mainstream Jews. And that's basically the position he took. He took a position that he's an Israelite, and that so too the mainstream community is Israel as well.
But a lot of people, but Kofi, haven't a lot of people been saying that? Yeah, it's probably honorary. None of them, especially the Pentecostals, they don't really have real degrees, Kofi. I ain't gonna say the Baptist boys and them other folk, but a lot of them Pentecostals that I know, let me speak for myself. A lot of Pentecostal preachers that I know, they calling themselves doc and all of this other stuff. They don't got no degrees. They don't have no degrees. So if they do have them, they're honorary. And by the way, I have an honorary one too. In that case, honorary that's a whole nother. We don't leave. Kobe, why are you here?
3 minutes.
A whole other thing. But
forgive me, 3 minutes ago.
Haven't we been saying, well, why can't y'all, if you're American, the only thing that bothers me is these people want to say we know for sure those people are fake. They got more.
Fred Price wasn't saying that.
They got more. They got so much. They got it. You can say what you want. I think people are following with bad information if they say these people got no history, that they're ancient. These light-skinned folk I'm talking about. Light-skinned folk been around. It seems like all of the proof and all of the books that even Benai and them talk about, when we go to it, Covey, tell me if I'm wrong, when we go to it, them light-skinned folk in the book too. Russian Jews, German Jews in the book too.
So this is, see, I don't know if you saw it, but just like
John was even excited. He was like, his DNA matching their DNA.
Yeah. Yeah. Although, yeah, that's when it comes to patrilineal definitions, that's a different thing. But Dante is one of the few that has a good argument. I don't know if you saw the comment. It was about at 111. It's about 4 minutes ago. Azariyahu, David Yisrael, he had a comment where he said, I think we woke now cut that part out. But in the original video, it's still there. He's referring to apparently, I didn't watch Kelly's re-airing of this. But what people are saying is that he conveniently cut out the part where Fred Price also recognizes the mainstream community as Israel.
Lamar Pope, jump on here. He said, y'all make up anything. Said, jump on here and explain it. If this is that's how come I'm going to stop putting the link out there. I said I was coming back when he put the link out there. If people are talking, come and explain your position. That's all you got to. I'm not finna just believe y'all because a bunch of preachers running their mouth. Bunch of Israelite Negroes on the corner with fringes running their mouth. I don't move like that. But if you believe it coming, actually the best, well, I'll read that later on. Gotta earn them degrees. All right, that's some other stuff. Correct. All right, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Abu. Go ahead.
No, that's all. I was just echoing Azaria's comment with Azariyahu, David Israel's comment earlier at 111. He said that, that we woke now cut out the part where Fred Price recognizes the mainstream community. So Fred Price is not saying we're the people and they're not. He's saying we both are. That's what he's saying, He's recognizing himself and the mainstream community.
Israel descent, what you got to say about that? Of course, y'all will cut some stuff out. Y'all would add some stuff in. Y'all would darken some pictures.
Who is y'all?
Y'all doing that, Israel descent.
Who is y'all?
The Israelites.
You saw us done on what occasion?
On what occasion? Let me get Garfield on here and show y'all some of them slides and some of them people. In certain pictures, they look like certain pictures just look like y'all made them darker people. Europa, for example. Didn't Garfield bring all of that out?
Please leave him in the house. Leave him at Master House. Leave him in the house. We don't need him in the field today. Please.
I really like the comment that you put on the screen there. That's a good comment you put on the screen. People are getting, I don't know what Fred Price got. I think he got, 5%, 10%, something like that.
Yeah.
Ashkenazim are typically getting 30 to 60%. And that was the reason that Kelly and Benaiah tried to throw that platform, El Hayek's Ancient DNA Origins website, under the bus. They were saying, it's not reliable. So it raises a lot of questions. They don't have a consistent standard. I think Fred Price does. Fred Price has a consistent standard.
More than they have throughout the years.
Kelly and Benaiah don't.
Yes. Here's what December. Would you like to say anything on that?
I just
the guy said, I don't know who my father is. He said it's okay if you feel it on the inside that you're Israel. The burning in the bush, all type of nonsense. We've been listening to this for a long time.
That's why you stay away from DNA. They can't. All of it false.
And then now you're going to say, he said, give me a man. I guess he's saying, give me a minute. I guess he's saying, give me a minute.
Who, me?
No. I'm talking about Pope. Go ahead. You go ahead. Go ahead.
I just stay away from DNA. I just feel like it's false anyway. What they comparing? Who they comparing? What DNA they comparing?
Just large numbers of people in that region going back to that time. They don't have to have Abraham.
People move. People, it's a different people. People that was in that regions in that age is not in that region. In this age, people change. The world changed. People change. War happened. We got to realize, we got to factor all this in. Because people think the Arabs been in Canaan forever.
Well, I think it would depend on what we mean. I think clearly the Arab world is very diverse.
People think the Palestinians been there forever. They think them the the original people from that land when they not.
Well, I would say this. The Palestinians, much like the mainstream Jews, are a diverse group, especially if we're talking about paternal lineages. They're a diverse group. There's a bunch of paternal lineages encompassed within these groups. And some of those lines do go way back to antiquity, you know? So like the E1B1B carriers in both
So a lot
communities,
of them
the
go back
J1
to Ham.
community. Say it again?
So a lot of them go back to Ham then. So it's a lot of people in that land today go back to Ham. What you saying?
Well, I mean, I think there's a bunch of possibilities there. Yeah, I'm sure. Maybe some of them are Hamites. Maybe some of them are descend from Japhet. Maybe some of them descend from Shem. And more specifically, maybe some of them descend from Jacob and some don't. But the point is that it's diverse. And it does seem clear that with both Palestinians and the mainstream Jewish community, while both groups are diverse and not everybody goes back to the region in antiquity, at least some of them have legitimate claims to descending from people who lived there in antiquity. And that also applies to someone like Dante Fortson. You know, Dante Fortson is neither Palestinian nor, let's say, part of a mainstream Jewish community, but he also has a reasonable claim to say that he descends patrilineally from someone who was in the Levant in antiquity. You know?
But he can't say he's the receipt for everybody making that claim here in America.
No, well, no, of course not, because he would himself be applying that to another group that's also diverse, you know.
Israel descent. How can you say, with all of this up and down, all of this back and forth uncertainty, how can you say boldly with your chest out there, you know your Israel bloodline?
Oh, I know.
Let me call brother. Let me see what brother. Let me see what brother.
I know everything about me. Know.
Like what? Like what? Help little mother. She's slow.
The Most High words tell me. I don't need man to tell me. I don't need no DNA test to prove me. To me, it is. I don't need none of that. I know. They ain't gonna tell black people in America who they is anyway. You icing them out. You icing somebody that will slave you to tell you who you are. Tell me who I am. They gonna tell you Ham. Or you come from West Africa. Me and Leo had a good conversation about something that it go shock the world. It go make people reread a lot of stuff in the Bible.
Read that right there, boo.
It says, I don't care about my color. My only patrilineal relatives are E1B1A, period. Well, yeah. So, I mean, that would apply to anyone of any haplogroup. They could say the color doesn't matter. You are most closely related with other people who have your particular haplogroup. So I guess I would agree with that in principle.
Yeah, and Ryan Harris, you stirring. You said Ryan Harris. This time you got to get out of here because you stirred it up. I tell you that slipped out.
So who?
No, go ahead, bud. I'm sorry. Go ahead. No, you want to say something?
I say who E1B? What it is? E1B1.
Y'all got more faith than me. Y'all got good. Y'all believe.
Yeah,
y'all believe.
We stand strong over here.
Y'all believe. All right, go ahead. What you was asking? You were asking Abu something?
Yeah, like E1B1A. Who that go back to? That's supposed to be Ham line.
Well, no, I wouldn't say that. My honest answer is I don't know.
Don't you hear that the most Abu that most Israelites in America talking about that E1, that same whatever I just had up on the screen.
E1B1A.
E1B1A.
What about it? Yeah, of course, because that's the majority haplogroup within the West African diaspora in the Americas. Some who are into genetics latch on to that particular haplogroup.
And they say basically once you're that, you are Israel. If you see that, if you do a DNA test and you see that, you are Israel.
Yeah, I don't. I'm reluctant to co-sign that. I mean, I don't see the evidence. Maybe the evidence will change. You know, we're constantly finding new samples.
When we talk about the West Africa, we talking about lower Egypt, right?
No, I'm talking about
West
that would
Africa,
be East Africa.
No. That's the Sub-Sahara, right? And lower Egypt, right?
Well,
no, not Egypt at all. No,
not Egypt. Egypt would be the other side of the continent.
Oh. Yes, the other side. Yes, correct. You. I guess you disagree with that too.
I might be wrong. Hold on, I'm thinking of something. Yeah, lower Egypt was there. This is what I was thinking about. I was icing. So
you thinking Upper Egypt, and you confusing Upper Egypt and Sub-Sahara. I think that's what you did.
Yeah, and perhaps your question should be clarified. Are you asking if E1B1A has been found in Egypt? Is that what you're asking, or if it's only representative? Like, I'm not sure I understand the question.
E1B1A, they go back to the Sub-Sahara, right?
Oh, it's definitely been dominant there for quite some time and is still dominant there. I don't think it's isolated to there, though. Like, there's samples that also are in East Africa and even West Asia.
Oh, okay. Reason
And
why
I'm guessing we're going to find more ancient samples in West
reason
Asia
why
in
I
the
was
future.
saying if Lord Egypt, why I was saying Lord Egypt crossed, and that day it wasn't no such thing as sub-Saharan Africa, and all that had to be Egypt. All that had to be Egypt. Egypt had control of all that land.
The whole continent?
But what if the? Go ahead. I'm trying to see the point.
What I'm saying was, the Bible never tell you what land. We know for sure that before the Israelites went into captivity to the Egyptians, they had a piece of land in Egypt that region that the king gave them.
Okay.
And even before then, before Joseph got sold to the Egyptians, they were living somewhere close to Egypt. They had left Israel and went down somewhere in Africa. Where's that land? We got to understand where's that land they went to. How we know it ain't the sub-Sahara? Like, how we know that? Like, we don't. And people be wanna, oh, we not Israel. I'm Israel. Nobody can tell. Only person who can tell me is God himself come down here, him or Jesus, and say, well, you ain't Israel, you're him.
You are Israel. You believe on the Lord. You true Israel.
I'm Israel.
You think you bloodline.
By bloodline. I don't see no.
And he said it's strong too.
I don't see no promises. I don't see no gates that belong to no Gentile, no heathen nation. I don't see that in scripture.
But we're not talking about no other nation. We're talking about people that's claiming Jewishness right now. Like them folk over there. That y'all are preachers. Because y'all message go hand in hand with we're real, they're fake. Yeah, everybody, that's all his videos are about. His whole channel is about their fake, we're real.
And but Ren, when you say they real, when you say, oh, we real and we fake, you got to stand on that. You can't say they real and we fake and go right to them and I'm gonna take my DNA. No, you can't. You got to stand on that. So how you just? You got to stand on that. Slow. Yeah, if I say somebody fake, I ain't about to go right back to them and ask them for something. That's like if I was in the streets and I don't mess with dude, he over there fake, he the police. I ain't about to go do business with him and I know he the police. He fake. I ain't gonna do that. I ain't gonna say he fake, then double back and go to the man. Come on, we got to be serious. These same people that go to DNA.
So the thing, the thing that really got you thinking, believing you're Israel is the curses.
Curses, just the curses. I believe.
Come on. People said this channel ain't no good for the
Israel.
If you just got faith, if all you got is faith, this channel ain't no good for you. This channel ain't no good for certain people. Kobe's saying, how does one say their bloodline and not believe in the blood? It ain't making no sense.
Did God get that blood test? I'm supposed to I'm supposed to believe what somebody tell me. That's crazy. God say every man, come on, man. Every man, I'm supposed to prove what somebody tell me. They told me, man, come on. You want me to tell you what they told me in America? I could go back. They told black, I could go back. We supposed to believe what they say just because somebody tell you on a piece of paper, you supposed to believe it?
It's not about blood tests, it's about feelings. That's what Jesus said. You feel you Israel. You feel it on the inside. You can have a burn in the bosom.
Yeah, what Christ say, my sheep will hear me, my voice, man.
So wait a minute.
That ain't no blood test. He ain't talking about no
wait
test.
A minute. Hey, yo, this man, he getting ready to preach that. He getting ready to preach that Christianity by faith and faith alone. That's what he finna preach. No, here. So everybody, Father, Abu, talk to him.
Man, I don't.
I'm not sure I understand some of the arguments, but maybe we'll play the video. Unless the gentleman has more to say, I would say. Maybe
I'm just saying I'm bloodline.
Brother A, what's good with you? Let him say, hold on before you leave, Abu. Listen, so maybe Brother he Israel too. He got a camp. Let me see what he got to say. Maybe he talking some sense. Go ahead, you unmuted.
Hey, shalom. Can I be heard?
Yeah.
Okay, all praises. When I'm done, would you be able to do me the favor of muting me because I'm about to drive in this work vehicle?
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so we got the curses, right? But
you breaking up a little bit. You going in a tunnel or something?
Yeah, he's breaking up a lot.
Yeah. You breaking up a lot. Yeah. Go ahead, Abu.
Yeah, I think the gentleman might be in an area with bad reception.
Yeah, or you going in a tunnel. Yeah, I looked, he said he was going in a tunnel or something.
Or he might be in a
I'll put
parking
the
lot.
link back
Maybe.
out if you want to jump
I
back
think he was
on.
going in a garage or something.
Yeah, exactly. That's something because he said he's about to drive. He might be in a parking lot or garage with low reception.
Oh, okay. I don't think it's good to make. I don't think it's good for anybody that's Israelite to say, "I know I'm bloodline." I think that's going to hurt the argument because that's. I think you're leaning towards. Some people can start saying that's ridiculous talk.
Yeah, because they want you to believe in DNA. You can't make nobody force somebody to believe in something they don't believe in. You telling me you got to prove, like these people going back to antiquity, finding people talking about you can't tell them prove. You got to prove that they got their DNA. You got to prove that. Then you got to prove Ham, Japheth, and Shem shared different. Then they had different haplogroups on DNA, whatever, however it goes. You got to prove that. And if them three sons had it, that means every time they had a child, their child DNA changed.
But how do you know? That's what they're asking. How do you know you're Israel without any DNA? How do you know that you're bloodline?
Because God told me through the Bible. The curse.
Okay, that's all right. He said God told him through the Bible. Go ahead, brother A. Let me see what you sound like now.
How I'm sounding?
Good.
Oh, now you sound, yeah. Now you're talking good.
All praises to the Most High. I just want to introduce this thought process into the discussion, and I'll be good unless somebody have questions for me. So, my stance is similar to average Israelite, is that curses are a major identifier. They are a sign, they're a wonder, and they're supposed to remind us of the chastisement and the covenant that the Most High has with us.
Equal to or even greater than DNA.
I don't deal with the DNA. I think I think it'll only get you so far. I think you can find some things out through DNA, but there's a lot more anthropological work that need to be done. Once you tell me that you're Irish and British in the same breath, I can't listen to you because the British conquered the Irish. Am I wrong or am I right?
Some of the blood. When people conquer people, when people take over, the soldiers rape. They marry. When Hannibal left his people up there, they start messing with the Italian women and all of that stuff. You don't think there's mingling?
I agree.
The Irish conquered the. I don't know. Go ahead. Let me hear. Let me hear you out.
I agree with you, but here's the problem. Before the British came and conquered Ireland, the Irish wasn't just one people. You understand what I'm saying? There was already a mixture of people over there. So once you say you British and Irish, you're just talking about a pot of mixed people no matter where you look. You say that you from North Africa. There's a whole lot of people in North Africa. At one point, the fatal flaw was that, everybody above the sub-Saharan was called Ethiopian or Ethiopic at some point. The modern people, yes. Exactly. The modern day black man, white man gonna look at the Ethiopian eunuch during the time of the book of Acts and say, see, the Ethiopian could be a Jew because he believed. Either the Ethiopian, and then they'll equate that to the Ethiopians today. But the Ethiopians today, when you reference Candace, there was no Candace ruling over Ethiopia. What they're talking about is the Nubian Empire that was being ruled. The Nubians was running that area, while the Ethiopians today was going by the name of Axum, right? So that passage ain't talking about no Axumite. So there's a lot of confusion embedded in the way that we view those historical narratives. So that's why I don't listen to the DNA like that. But what I will say is, beyond the curses, the Israelites, the elect of those Israelites, that's why I believe the New Testament was for. It says that we be predestined unto good works. Those good works I would equate with the commandments. I'm not appealing to theocracy. We don't have a temple to sustain that theocracy anymore. But the obedience of the Most High, the commandments, that means affirming what you're supposed to affirm.
So those that have the desire in their heart to really want to keep the commandments, that should be plenty proof they got a burning desire to want to keep the commandments.
Desire ain't even enough. And here's how cold it gets. If you have the desire to do good, but you do evil, your fruits are going to show something different than simply what your desire was. My fruits, if I desire to do good, but I do evil, my fruit is still wicked. You understand what I'm saying? So you shall know them by their fruits. The emphasis on that needs to be placed on the predestination unto good works. The real Israelites will show forth those good works, and they will be in them curses. You look at the modern day Jew; they are, if I'm not mistaken, they're mostly secular, and they're back in the land. When Christ Himself said that you're gonna be scattered into all nations, and your land's gonna be trampled by the heathen until the time of the heathen is complete. I'm paraphrasing.
Get further chatty, y'all. Go ahead.
I'm paraphrasing drastically.
Yes,
So
yeah. We all with you. We all with you. Go ahead.
So we have those things to look off. By process of elimination, it can't be the people that's in the land committing the wickedness that got the Israelites kicked out of the land. Christ doesn't have to come and die on the cross if the Israelites are righteous in their estate. And when He goes and dies on the cross, before He does that, He tells the Israelites they're going to be scattered into all nations. So that's already strikes against the so-called Jews. Luke 21:24 automatically disqualifies the book. That's not to say that some of them aren't, but what we got to look at is in the last days, there's going to be a filtration process. And the people that are going to outlast everybody and inherit that kingdom are not just going to be Israelites, they're going to be Israelites who have been predestined unto good works. And they're going to show forth that fruit until the end. And then the Gentiles are going to come and learn the ways of the Most High through those elect that endure in the faith until the end. And like I said, I'll fade to the back. If you could mute me, I'm driving.
All right. Appreciate that. Anybody want to say anything on that before I play this? All right, fair you.
Not in origin. First, I want to show you this. All right, and I'm please know I'm not trying to make this about me. I'm taking us somewhere. Are you all good so far? Okay. Put up image number 8, please. Image number 8. Okay, this is a very small percentage. It's only 2%, but as you can read it, my average genetic similarity to the tribe of Dan. 2%. Next image, please show image number 6. Image number 6. From 2% to 6%, my genetic similarity to the tribe of Zebulun or Zebulun. Next image, please. Show image number, let's go with image number 5. Image number 5. From 2% similarity to Dan, 6% similarity to Zebulun. My average genetic similarity to this is the Israelite portion of my DNA. 12% to the tribe of Levi. But here's the one. Here's the one. Show image number 4. Image number 4. This is the tribe that the lion comes from. Now I'm showing you 2 images here because what this test does is, it's really detailed, and they'll show you your similarity with certain persons that they have found from ancient days. Some of the names, they just have named them because they didn't know what their names were. But I want to show you this. It says, of my average genetic similarity to the tribe of Judah, 21%. Dan, 2%. Zebulun, 6%. Levi, 12%. I believe I have similarity to Simeon too, but I can't find that image. But of Judah, 21%. Of the remaining tribes, it was all less than 1%. But it says my highest genetic similarity is with a woman by the name of Nekah from the tribe of Judah. And that's a 40% similarity. Okay, so I have DNA evidence that I'm an Israelite. Now watch this. You think I'm the only one in this room? All right, let's look at this. This is the one that intrigued me the most, though. I took another test called the Semitic test. We know Israelites came from Shem, but other nations came from Shem as well. Watch this. Image number, I believe it's number 2. Yep, put up image number 2. Oh boy. Okay, here we go. Look at this. I'm going to start from the bottom. The low 2 say I have a 1.2% and 1.3% similarity with Ammonites and Moabites. Now, who are the Ammonites and the Moabites? They were the children of Moab and Ben-Ammi. Where did they come from? Well, you all remember Sodom and Gomorrah, and you all remember Lot and his wife. Well, she was addicted to the city, so she turned and looked back and became a pillar of what? But Lot and his daughters remained, and what did his daughters say? If we don't lay with our father, we will not be able to preserve our genealogy. And they laid with their father and produced the Moabites and the Ammonites. I can't believe this. I'm a 2.5% descendant of Lot. Let's take it up next. That says Hebrew, 2.3%. Now, you may say, well, I saw your Israelite 5% and your Israelite 1.3%, and of those percentages, the similarities to the tribe of Levi and Judah, etc. Well, what's this Hebrew here? Well, remember, today, in the modern era, as far back as the New Testament, to be Hebrew, Israelite, or Jew was pretty much synonymous. If I was referring to the Jews, I was referring to the Israelites. If I was referring to the Israelites, I was referring to the Hebrews. Paul shows us that, right? He says salvation was for the Jew first and then the Greek. Well, you know that Jew had to include all the tribes because Paul technically wasn't a Jew. He was from the tribe of Benjamin. So you know that when he made the statement, by that time in the known world, Hebrews, Israelites, and Jews were all synonymous terms. And we have a lot of words like that today, words that are synonymous, but their original meanings tell us a different story. Well, way back in the beginning of time, biblically speaking, that is, there were Hebrews, but there were no Israelites and Jews. Because the Israelites come from the Hebrews and Jews come from the Israelites. Working backwards. In order to be a Jew back then, and the first time we see the word Jew in the Old Testament was attached to a man named Mordecai. It's called Mordecai the Jew. And what did it mean to be a Jew? Old Testament period. To be a Jew meant you were a Yehudite from the tribe of Judah. So if you were from Judah, you were a Jew. If you were from Dan, you were a Danite. If you were from Reuben, you were a Reubenite. If you were from Benjamin, you were a Benjamite. If you were from Levi, you were a Levite. You all know the rest. Well, where did Judah come from? Judah came from a man named Jacob, whose name was changed to Israel, which means any children Israel has will be an Israelite. So all the tribes that came, or sons that came from Israel, which produced tribes, were the Israelites. And what made up the Israelites? Again, the Yehudites, the Levites, the Simeonites, the Reubenites, the Danites, the Naphthalim, etc., etc. Okay, working back further, because Jacob came from who? Isaac, and Isaac came from who? Abraham. Well, Abraham came from a very specific line. It was a line of Shem. That genealogy is mentioned in Genesis 11, verse 10. Starts off with Shem. Shem's son was Arphaxad, and we go down this list. I feel
like I done heard this 1,000 times.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I done heard this 1,000 times. Same sermon, different face. Let me see what this guy talking about right here. Somebody got timestamp?
Which video is this?
Some David Richardson talking about Israel or something.
Oh, I didn't see this yet, but I heard it was good though.
Yes, I heard.
He gets into the Christian Zionism.
Where we at? Hold on, let me go back to the other screen so I can see y'all. What did I do? Okay, let me find out I messed up. I'll put my food down. Oh, what is it?
Paul's gospel it goes or it follows rather that Christians should favor Israel, not only in our missions, but also in our support, our politics, the way that we go about treating Israel, and even from a dispensational standpoint, it is also the view that Israel is God's prophetic time clock. That if you want to know where we are in prophetic history, as in what's God up to, what's he going to do next, Israel is what we are supposed to be looking at. And so if you, from a current events perspective, pay attention to Israel in the news, this is supposedly then some indication of what may be coming next. And so for many people, you can tell that we're getting closer to Jesus's return based on things that happened to Israel or events in Israel, right? So it's a essentially an eschatology centered around Israel rather than around Jesus, and so the long and short of it is Israel priority theology sees that holding favorable support of Israel brings on God's blessing. So it's this idea that if we pray for Israel, if we bless Israel, God will bless us, right? And so, have you heard of it now? Does that sound familiar to many of you? And so, if you recognize any one of the,
I think that more money has been transferred from places like this good United States of America into the hands of the people over there in that land, based off of that passage in Genesis and the preaching of John Hagee and so many other books on what he just said. Little mother can't lie on that now. You can't lie about that.
Those characteristics, that is, in a nutshell, what Israel priority theology is about. And so tonight, I want to talk about why that's an error, why that's wrong, and why it is wrong-headed in terms of the scriptures that it bases its view from, and why it causes the church to re-engage ideas existing in the early church that New Testament writers and the apostles shot down, right? So we would be essentially dabbling in those waters again. So let's talk about it, this notion of Christian support for Israel. And since we are now post-election, many of you would remember how that factored not only in this election, but also in 2020. It was a question in 2016. It was a question in 2008, right? So every election, there are these questions regarding how America will, how each president will stand by Israel. And so I think it's necessary to make some distinctions in this conversation. So for one, the US's pro-Israel policy is not rooted in how it sees the scripture. It's not a biblical based policy. America's policy of and it's, trust me, there's some problems even with its pro-Israel policy, but its policy is more or less centered around the fact that Israel is a democratic state in the Middle East, and as a result, it is an ally of the U.S. in a region that is known to be a hotbed of violence and terrorism, so forth and so on. So we should understand first and foremost that the U.S.'s pro-Israel policy is primarily rooted in the fact that it is a democratic ally. So it's going to favor countries, democratic nations, wherever they are, because their geopolitical locations make them strategic for U.S. Not only politics, U.S. Economics, or business around the world, right? So, and even obviously from a war standpoint. So that's one thing. The other thing I think we need to get out of the way, it's the elephant in the room in this conversation, is that when we speak of Israel as a state or a nation, that is not saying the same as ethnic Israel, as a covenant nation of people from a biblical standpoint. And so when the Bible speaks of ethnic Israel, as in God's covenant people under the old covenant, that's different from the political state of Israel. So right away, if you are making a one-to-one equivocation between political state Israel and covenant Israel under the Mosaic covenant, then you're already on a slippery slope. You're already wrong, because those are not the same entities. One group is, and that is not to say that ethnic Israelites whose ancestors were under the Mosaic covenant don't live under the political state of Israel. That's not to say that at all. But the political state of Israel is an entity in and of itself. It's a government. It is a state. It is a national identity based around its political sovereign state. That is a different group. So you can't have a theology centered around a political nation, right? That's already wrong, because you're making an equivocation that is false. It's categorically false. It's a fallacy to do so. And so that's one of the big problems with the way that many people approach this topic, is they make that first mistake. And that is, they think Israel, and what they think about Israel is the Israel from 1948 that became a nation, a state in 1948. They immediately think, well, that's the Israel in Scripture. In fact, a lot of that is the result of dispensationalism. So premillennial dispensationalism is very much centered around a kind of a pro-Israel or a Israel priority kind of theologies, that Israel is God's prophetic time clock, so forth and so on. So naturally, it saw in 1948 the development of Israel as a state. It saw that as fulfillment of prophecy. So for instance, what is it? Ezekiel, I think 30, I believe it's 36 or 37. Quote me if I'm wrong. Ezekiel's vision of dry bones, a graveyard of dry bones, and where, God asks Ezekiel, can
these bones live? Now you listen to what's being said here. I can't be mad at what's being said. This is why I love Most Excellent. This contradicts the narrative that all Christians think 1948 is a fulfillment of biblical prophecy. Millions in the church don't believe in that garbage. But like I said, them Israelites got the lie to say the whole church, that's replacement theology and all the nonsense that they talk about. They got to say that to push their narrative. You don't got to lie. You ain't got to lie on the church. Tell the truth. A whole bunch of the church don't believe 1948. Y'all think those the people. Y'all think those the people. 501c3 and it's not good to parrot stuff. It's not good to parrot stuff. They're not coming with no numbers, with no stats on different denominations. They didn't even know what dispensationalism was till we start hitting them. Hermeneutic, exegy, don't get me started. But we got to help these folk. The same folk that be lying at the same time. Now I'm watching. Now I'm watching them, some of you Christians too now. There use.
These bones live, and they're all scattered. And obviously, this is an image of Israel in its spiritual state, dispersed in exile, and as a result of disobedience and sin. And God asked the question, "Can these bones live?" And so, in this vision, winds, you know.
That's how come I said Dunamis should just came on up there with me. Because folk want to tell them folk up there, God is in me, but the devil is on me. The same person, this guy right here, the same person, he got a wrench. Lord, somebody been doing something since I've been gone. The same person, now he's saying, so John Mack and many others don't understand Bible. Remember, he the same person was blowing the dispensationalists for about 11 and a half months. Never mind. Let me just let the video play.
Come and as God sends the winds and it pulls these bones together, and suddenly the bones start taking on shape, and you know, muscle and you know, joints and marrow and other things start forming around it, and ultimately skin, and it becomes a person, right? So this vision is an idea of this regathering or this restoration, if you will, of Israel. And so for the dispensationalists, they would see that as prophecy. And part of that prophecy in their thinking was, well, look at that. Wow, 1948 was...
Where's Sister Davis at? Sister Davis, do me a favor. Matter of fact, I'm even... Should I even drop that link for Dunamis to come on? Where's Sister Davis at? Because I already know. They're going to slide a little bit of Trump in there. He said, IURC Deacon Asaph praising Trump winning. Oh, I'm about to play some of that stir little mama in there. He vote yes. He vote yes. Hey, yo, oh, man. Come on, Terrence Jones. But Sister Davis probably ain't going to do that. She got a softie for doing him assault. She'll let him run amok. Let me see what she say. Berean, I'm on my way to class, but Trumpism believe the 1940 is a fulfillment. But not only believe it, I don't even want to put my baby in on talking about Jehu and how the anointing all on Trump. Let me leave these people alone. Y'all in this religion, in this Bible, y'all can say what y'all want, but they have. Them folk have taken some of these scriptures and ran a whole muck.
I can say something real quick, B.
This fulfillment, God regathering.
Deacon, he wasn't praising. He wasn't praising. He just see the work.
Here he go defending. I forgot Mr. And I always pictured you as a Sakari type.
Yeah, cause you got to be serious. Praising, people just see that he happy that Trump won. Yeah, cause we see that prophecy again is unfolding.
What prophecy? Tell me what prophecy you see. Let me do the take care of your.
That's what we know.
Dunamis up in here. I'm tired.
We know.
Go ahead.
We know this war in the Middle East is about to intensify.
I told you what I said. Look what she said. I knew she was going to say that. Go ahead, Dunamis.
Yeah, grace and peace, Shabbat Shalom. Welcome back, Berean. I can't stay on too long. Just,
come on with your, come on and spew your nonsense.
Well, first I want to say, it's interesting that he said it's interesting. I'm trying to work out what he's talking about with democracy, right? So when many pastors were saying go vote from the pulpit, right? Is democracy a modern democracy? Let me say that, or democracy, is that a biblical concept? Where does that come from?
It's an American concept, but it's hand in hand. They believe it's biblical.
Okay, so when
No,
folks,
they not the America. You can say what you want. Democracy. What other country? Egypt. What other country over there? Oh boy. I figured Roger. I figured that. That shouldn't even be no surprise to me. Go ahead, Dunamis. These people get me turn my stomach. Let me go get a bucket. I got to go over the toilet bowl. Go ahead. Go ahead.
yeah, no, just in concept of, if democracy is not a biblical concept, right, and the whole supporting political parties is not biblical, then how do we move to certain things when politics come up? It should be that just don't bring the Bible in at all and let it go, and we have our own personal opinions or what? Then too, where does democracy come up from that's so prevalent? Now, Demeration said something interesting. He said that, folks, it's not Bible. Now, Brent, I grew up in a dispensational church, right? We had TBN going at the household. Can we really say, to be fair, that dispensational is not a biblical concept, or is it just another view with the Bible? Because that would mean that folks like Corey Minor, John MacArthur, and many others who said that this is what the Bible plainly says, either are hardline ignorantly or just don't understand what the Bible's saying. So what then do we do? That's all I'm just trying to figure out, because now it seems that the eschatology, which we would say is secondary, is becoming more and more primary to what we do and what's going on. And if the church is Israel, what does that do for some doctrine and some theology?
Oh,
Even
okay.
with
That's all right. I came and I heard that part there. Yeah, I guess and he has been saying, are any of these issues really secondary issues that we've been going over and really, really getting kind of tight with each other about? Are they
because
really secondary? Go ahead. Go ahead.
because if someone preaches from the pulpit about the state of Israel,
Come on.
now in the Bible, granted there's not, quote, political parties, but there are factions. There was a faction that supported Solomon. There's a faction that supported his brother. So there's always been factions that have been supported, which one could say is akin to a political party, right? Even though it's not voting.
Yeah. That's what
So
it is.
was God on the side of certain factions, certain kings, certain brothers being elevated to rule and to reign over families, over regions, over empires? So we just got, I don't know, we have to slow it down, because with God's sovereignty, even with democracy, God is sovereign even through the individual votes. So this would play into, to me, it seems like would play into a more primary issue. And eschatology is becoming more and more primary, because who is God's people and what should we do? That if God has a plan for Israel and you voted for a politician that's not supporting Israel, are you trying against God's hand? God forbid, but are you going against God's plan and his will? And I don't want to bring the A word, Breen, but who has the right to say so or not? Because we just said the Bible, again, I can quote several people who say that the Bible does say the state of Israel is fulfillment of prophecy. Not all Christians don't believe that. It's a loud minority in the West, but it's still loud, who control media and certain platforms. So what do we do?
Go ahead, Slick. I'm eating my cake. Some people ain't want me to eat no cake up there. They want me to meditate and shut my eyes and do all this crazy stuff. Breathe deep. Go ahead, Slick.
Hey, Berean, this funny right here. I done heard Trump is the Antichrist. I done heard Trump is Cyrus. Boy, it's gonna be funny these next few months. I love it. It's what's up. The prophet's gonna come out. People gonna be prophesying all type of stuff. Let's see if they're gonna be prophesying what the book really say and what's in there. Cause I ain't hearing no real Bible. I'm just hearing a whole bunch of talking.
But they all got Bible. What are you talking about? They don't believe it's Bible. What they talking about?
So where in the Bible does it say something the side and something?
Well, say it again, Sleek. You kind of broke up a little bit.
Say, where in the Bible, you know I'm at work, I'm sorry, y'all. Where in the Bible do it say something about the elections, Trump? Oh, I even heard Elon. I'm here. Hey, come on, man. It's a lot going on right now. Y'all got to be honest about it. You hear me? And like I said, I ain't hearing a lot of scripture. I heard him say Ezekiel 36 and 37. But if you want to go to Ezekiel 36 and 37, Ezekiel 36 and 37 saying something about I do mail and the wrong people being in the land, if you're going to keep it real. Let's talk about that.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Who you throwing shots at?
No. He getting ready to go somewhere right now. But go ahead, do it if you muted.
What now, Slick, we gotta be careful, brother. Grace, well, shalom, brother. Hope things going. Hope you have some good feast days. Yes, coming to an end or began. Now, do you know Jonathan Kahn, Slick? Yeah, he's at work, so he might have been. See, Jonathan Kahn is a good Jewish brother, and he's written several books on harbingers and how to read the signs and the seasons with America, right? And now there's something called, I'm not sure how much he taps into it, gematria. So if you got the numbers right and the calculations, you'll see Trump in that Bible. You'll see this 2024 election. You'll see a lot of different things. You just gotta.
You talking Kabbalah? You talking Kabbalah and all of that stuff? Come on, brother. Come on, man. You talking about magic tricks? I hear you.
Hold on now, brother. Hold on. You gotta. Let me stop. Yeah, but in all seriousness, there are folks who will make prophecy out of current events and do all that numbering and all that kind of stuff.
And COVID said based on which manuscript they pulling them numbers from.
Yeah, that's where it gets wild. Because I remember back in 2001 when the Twin Towers happened, they said that was in the Bible. And you got to have the calculations right and the Bible code and all that kind of stuff. But a guy who was speaking on that was also telling you how to trade stocks off the Bible code. And if you buy his stuff, he'll show you how to make money from the stock market using the Bible. But that's where the door opens to a lot of mysticism and other Jewish thought. But then what do you do? And it's really heavy. As the Most High said, there's an underlying assumption that prophecy is clear, and everyone's interpretation is believed to be infallible. Yeah. That's kind of one of the biggest things.
See what some guys say about that because he think it's clear. He understands what somebody he's saying. Oh, she said they ain't talking no Bible. And then go back and this your girl right here, Dunamis. Read that.
Trump is Jehu.
Same thing another minister told my people, said, oh no, this is all God's doing right here.
Now, Breen, you remember what your sister said, Bishop's sister, about little mother?
Oh boy. I just hung up for
her. If Trump is Jehu, little mother, then who is Jezebel? Little mother got to break that down. Who is Ahab and who is Jezebel? I got a feeling in my spirit who she's going to say Ahab and Jezebel is, but I ain't going to say it. Because is that self-hatred, being misogynistic, trying to take down a woman of color? Little mother?
Hey, since everybody throwing out their thing, who Trump is, can I throw mines out there, Berean?
Yeah, go ahead.
Trump is Pharaoh, and Israel getting ready to leave with gold. We getting our reparations. He Pharaoh, nigga. That's what I say. Excuse my French.
Oh, he hit it on the head. No, that way. That's what I was trying to say. Deacon was happy for him. Y'all ain't want to hear that.
Well,
we know what's going on.
Israel, so it ain't like Trick is Israel.
Who?
The guy that just made the comment that you just agreed to.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. That's why Deacon was happy. We know what's going on. Y'all talking about, Deacon was happy Trump won. Yeah, everybody happy in Israel that Trump won.
Oh, well, I'm glad. Yo, it's good to talk. Go ahead.
No. I ain't agreeing to that. I don't vote. I have two.
I ain't
I
vote.
don't care.
Oh no,
I don't give
we
two
ain't
little
vote
bits
neither.
about who win. Cause I ain't on no. I've been off that hamster wheel a long time. No more running in place for me. I'm just. I no. I didn't. I don't care nothing about that right there.
We definitely want Carmella to win, and I ain't even vote. Me and my wife don't even. I ain't even stand together.
Wait, so it's what to say. You didn't vote, but you're happy that Trump won.
Yeah,
So,
it ain't clear to you. I'm ready. You ain't clear. Oh, you ain't ready to go. You love America.
it's what it said, brother.
You ready? You love America. You like my mama. I just told my mama that. You love America. You gonna die here. You love it.
It said, brother, you got the big house down the Esau neighborhood,
What that
brother.
mean? What that mean? What do that? Who? Ice Leo. What I told him. Me and my girl fell out, broke up, told her to get out, and left. I ain't on that. You want to get mad because I ain't vote, but you want to go support abortion and all that? Then go be with girl. You need to go be with her.
You broke up with your girl because she voted for Kamala?
No, we had a big argument because I ain't vote. I ain't registered to vote. I ain't vote. I don't care about that. I'm supposed to go vote for her because she black, but she
Why
supporting
not?
all these
Why
abortion clinics.
not? So
Because she supporting all these abortion clinics in our neighborhoods. I'm supposed to support that. I'm supposed to support most sin on my people.
yeah, but it's what they're saying. That's the
Come
curses,
on,
though.
come on. And I'm supposed to add to it by committing most sin.
No, that's the Most High's doing. So are you gonna not vote for her? Are you going to give them the Most High's doing?
No, I ain't
So the
vote for
Most
no.
High brought these curses, brother. Then
That's what I'm saying. God against abortions, killing babies. So that you for it, you stand for that.
no. It's what I'm
You,
just
but
saying.
if
If
you
the
if you
curse,
vote, I don't vote. I don't care. I don't stand for neither one, and I don't care to vote for either one. But I know a lot of people voted, and like I said, if you voted, that you stand for everything she stood for. If you voted for her, so you got to eat that. You need to. If you did, you need to repent and ask for forgiveness because you stood with that. That's what you stood for. Her want to kill babies. Her even allowing men to get talking about sex changes. We got to be real.
all right, so it's what I'm saying. But you did pray for the peace and prosperity of America, right?
No, death of America.
I, I, I what about
That's
what chapter verse?
that's what I want. Death. I don't want to be here forever. You think I
N- n-
want? You think
No,
I
but
love this place? I
Jeremiah
want.
20,
Oh
Jeremiah 29,
man.
10 or 11. Does the Most High command to pray for the peace of the city that he takes you to? That if it prospers, you'll prosper too.
Pray for peace. That's what you praying for, huh?
That's what the
Pray.
Most High says.
Hold on. Let me ask you a question. You pray for the war in the Middle East to end, don't
Yeah.
you? Oh, you don't want. You love America.
Well, brother, doesn't Jeremiah 29,
You don't want World War Three.
I'm
You don't
quoting
want
scripture.
World War Three, man.
I'm quoting,
You ain't ready for Jesus to return, man. You
so,
don't want World War Three. You want
The
America to
Bible
go
say
on
World War III
forever.
got to come for him to
Come
return. He
on,
got to come. It
man.
got to come.
Come on. We know what's going on in private. What they going to? What's the battle of Jehoshaphat? We gotta be knowing this, man.
Oh, that is World War III.
Come on, we don't know what's going on, man. People act like they slow. As I'm slow, people just act like they
Somebody's slow and
somebody slow.
somebody's super slow.
Super slow.
Hey, can I say something? Because
Yeah, say something, bro.
in the chat, we believe reincarnation. Trump is Trump. I'm not saying Trump reincarnated Pharaoh, because we can go to Ezekiel 31 and it speaks about the king, the Pharaoh, and then you read the whole chapter, and then it starts talking about the garden of God, right? And we know Pharaoh wasn't in the garden of God, but the spirit of Satan that's in those people. So that's not talking about reincarnation. We talking about the spirit. Trump is the
you
spirit
know
of
the
Pharaoh. The
title.
same thing Pharaoh. Hold on. The same thing that the Pharaoh did. A lot of people, and excuse this background was a lot of people went crazy when they seen that Tav in the sky. where those eclipse cost that. You know what I'm saying? And you know they said that was connected to the second to the Exodus, right? So everybody got their own opinion, but I do think Trump gonna have something to do with. And I know y'all disagree. Israel getting up out of here. It's just my opinion.
Wow, you fair use.
And
Garfield, what's good? Yo, oh man, yo, I can't.
this is nuts.
Oh man, let's just.
Look, he did it. Israel's now a state again. It came back to life, right? And so I will say that that is also incorrect. That the vision of Ezekiel is not about Israel becoming a nation from a statehood or a political standpoint. It is about the spiritual renewal of Israel. That is actually fulfilled not only historically but in a present ongoing sense in the person and work of Christ and in the gospel mandate, right? So as a person comes to Christ, that is fulfilled in that way. It has nothing to do with the nation from a sovereign political kind of state, right? So that's already wrong. But a lot of ideas, and so these ideas, mind you, have been immersed in Christian theology. Many people don't know where it comes from. They have no idea, but because they've heard it over and over and over and over, pray for the peace of Jerusalem and all these different kinds of things. And because America is so obsessed with success and rugged individualism, the church has even taken on a lot of this kind of prosperity orientation. And so naturally it would look for ways to be blessed. And so there are different types of prosperity theology. Obviously you have word faith theology, but there is a prosperity theology that is rooted in American identity. Almost American dominionism, this sense in which God bless America and no one else, right? Or and we'll talk about that. That we've got a show coming up real soon on Christian nationalism, but this idea of God blessing America, and so a lot of that kind of prosperity became part of Christian theology here. And so naturally Christians would look for ways to be blessed. And so as dispensationalism grabbed hold in the early 20th, late 19th century, early 20th century, one of the ways that became attractive to many believers in terms of being blessed was praying for Israel, praying for Jerusalem's peace, praying for Israel. Because if you bless Israel, God will look favorably on the nation that regards Israel and protects Israel or supports Israel. And that's very, very attractive to Americans because, again, ingrained in our cultural identity is this idea of prosperity. It is this idea of manifest destiny. It is this idea of God favoring us, reading our nation into Scripture, even thinking that God's doing things. Whatever's happening here is somewhat determining what God's doing in other places, right? So we have this natural orientation to kind of think of things in that way, and so that has a lot of implications. And so let's kind of get into some of these ideas. And as I've already pointed out, these ideas are very popular in not just evangelical circles, but also very much in Pentecostal and charismatic circles, as you could see in the most recent election, how that idea started coming up again. In fact, many decided not to vote for one candidate for obviously a number of reasons, but one that came up in exit polls was, well, it was their position on Israel. And these again are people who profess to be Christians. Well, this candidate's position on Israel. We didn't like their position on Israel. It wasn't strong enough. They don't seem to be backing Israel. I like, so Kamala Harris's, it's post-election, so I may as well say it. Well, her view seemed to be supportive of an Arab state and yet sympathetic to Israel, but not strong enough. Not like Donald Trump's position was pro-Israel, right? So a lot of people who are Pentecostal, charismatic, evangelical, or whatever, they like that kind of talk, right? And so, believe it or not, a lot of that motivated people to vote for Trump. He's indiscriminately pro-Israel. He's going to stand with Israel. And again, rooted in that is this idea that, that blesses, that brings on God's blessing of us as a people, as a nation, right? So let's talk for a few minutes about this particular misguided idea. Please share. Let's get the views up. I want to make sure this gets out. I want a lot of people watching this. Maybe this is not people's favorite topic, but I promise you, this is really important. This is really, really important. So I want to talk about this misguided idea that any favorable support, particularly from the U.S. and even from Christians, causes God to bless us. And so while we may not have a whole lot of time to deal with every facet and aspect of that, I really want to start digging into a couple of things to consider regarding Israel priority kind of theology. And so the first issue, write these things down if you can. The first issue is to establish.
I want y'all to really listen to this because I haven't heard it, but a couple of people was talking about it. But I'm gonna tell y'all right now, this with how a good bit of American. It's a big church out there, bigger than some of y'all know. But the way a lot of American Christians feel, this could be a church splitter right here. Folk, because people are taking hard stances with Israel and Trump, and they feel they got the Bible, and other folk like y'all done got blinded with this thing. This whole Israel being formed as a nation could be pimping, and it may not even be the will of God, but we done had a steady diet of it here in America. Then I argue with my man when he said we help fuel the awakening and some of all that other stuff. We spreading this nonsense. Even if we think we're doing an apologetic or whatever against it, we're helping to spread some nonsense. Have you unwillingly helped spread nonsense?
Let me say this at the onset, because I know how people think and even how they listen. They don't listen, right? So they hear keywords. Oh yeah, man, did you hear Richardson's anti-Semitic? So that's what many people will have already heard at this point, because they're not really listening, or they have cognitive dissonance. Please don't listen in that way, because that's not really listening. That's essentially having a bias in your mind already that slants what you hear, so that you don't hear what's being said. You hear what you think is being said, and then you run away with essentially a straw man or a false representation of what's being stated. So what I am talking about tonight is not intended to be anti-Semitic, anti-Jewish, or anything like that. So that's number one. And I'm not going to repeat that again. I'm not going to continue to make disclaimers about that. So let's get that out of the way. The second thing is, just to create some boundary around where we'll go in this conversation and where we won't, I am not going to get into sidebar issues such as Israel's right to sovereignty, their right to exist as a sovereign state, so forth and so on, as Zionism. So this conversation, the scope of this conversation will not include Zionism, right? So we just don't have the time to include that into tonight's discussion. So Psalm 122. Let me read that. Let me read that quickly here. Psalm 22. Hold on just a second. I want to pull that up. Just a second here. Okay. Sorry about that, y'all. Getting my online, my Bible app. So Psalm 122, verses 6 to 9. I want to read that. Psalms 122, this is from the CSB, verses 6 to 9. It says, pray for the well-being of Jerusalem. May those who love you be secure. May there be peace within your walls, security within your fortresses. Because of my brothers and friends, I will say, may peace be in you. Because of the house of the Lord our God, I will pursue your prosperity. Right? So, so Psalms 122, and you will have heard this phrase before: pray for the peace of Jerusalem, and pray for Israel, pray for the peace of Jerusalem. And so Psalms 122, verse 6 through 9, is essentially one of your main proof texts for this kind of Israel priority theology and perspective. But it's important to understand what this means in context. Proof texting is when you take a verse or a number of verses and you use it as proof for a position that the text doesn't itself support, but you think it does, and it may even sound like it does based on reading it. But interpretation may start with reading, but it goes beyond reading, because what you read may not be what's being communicated, or how you understand it can't simply be limited to what you are reading. And so in this context, it's important.
Type of one if you do understand what he just said.
Important to understand, number one, that this is not a commandment. This is not an imperative. We are not being taught here to pray for Jerusalem's peace. That's not what's being discussed here. This is a Jewish reflection of pre-exilic pilgrimages to the city of Jerusalem and its temple for Jewish exiles who were cut off from Zion. And so as you read it, and you read it in that with that in mind, what we are hearing are the prayers of Jews outside of Judea, outside of Israel, hoping and praying for Israel's prosperity, for its shalom, for its well-being, its wholeness, its completeness, right? And so typically what Jews living outside of the area would do is yearly they would make pilgrimages to Israel for various feasts and holy days, so forth and so on. And so what we are hearing is this is again a poem of Jewish reflection of pre-exilic pilgrimages to the same. When I say pre-exilic, I mean this is before the exiles, such as the Assyrian or the Babylonian exiles. This is in David's day, as we can see that this is one of the songs. Notice songs of ascent. So to go up to Zion, or to go up to Israel, is the language of ascent, right? And that is to go up to worship, is the idea. And so this is a poem of reflection for the city of Jerusalem, for its temple, for its well-being, so forth and so on. And so this has nothing to.
And y'all understand the Ascension Psalms, what those Psalms, when they were used. There's different types of Psalms throughout the Bible. This is where, when you get folks together, I understand it completely, but that adds complexity to interpretation. And I'm not convinced that most people can handle that. I'll wait till I start preaching next week. I went up in that place. I said, I'm coming back preaching. Wait till I start preaching next week, and we start using scriptures, and people, because some of us will say, well, we understand when you're drawing from the text and what we think the text mean, what it meant then. But you can say what you want. Plenty of people. Oh God. Plenty of people. We're cross-examining that plenty of people done got saved listening to certain passages of the Bible. Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If any man hear my voice and open up. We use that passage. They can tell me what they want to tell me. I know folk got saved hearing that. And other passages. No matter, they may say, well, that's not what that's really intended to be used for.
To do with any imperative or any teaching, any command. Nowhere in the New Testament is the church taught to specifically pray for the peace of Jerusalem. Or now, let me say this. This doesn't mean that this is not restrictive, so that you shouldn't be hearing me say, well, don't pray for Jerusalem, or listen, pray for peace everywhere, right? Certainly pray for peace in that part of the world, or wherever turmoil may exist. My point is
how can he say that, and Gia say that, and Dunamis say that, and Israel Descent and other people are looking for World War III? They don't want to. They praying for destruction. The opposite with the same book. I wish Terrence Jones, instead of getting in here talking all this crazy, I wish Terrence Jones would explain that. How can Richardson and Gia and Dunamis say one thing and quote Bible, and so many others, Dunamis, say, they're like, pray, God, come here and destroy this foul country. And they're excited about World War III. They want it to come.
That's not what this text is teaching. This text is not supporting the idea that Christians should pray for Jerusalem's peace. This was written to ethnic Jewish people and encouraging them to continue to seek and to pray and to hope for Jerusalem's prosperity and wealth.
That's what when they say they're like, when they drawing out exegeting from the text, they're going to give you background. It's a lot that goes into it. That's how we're not hearing no, all of this discussion is commentary on the psalm that was read.
Well-being. Notice what it says. Pray for the well-being. CSB, verse 6 of Jerusalem. May those who love you be secure. May there be peace within your walls, security within your fortresses. That's also part of that prayer. Because of my brothers and friends, I will say, may peace be in you. Because of the house of the Lord, so this has to do with also the temple, I will pursue, notice, your prosperity. So that's that. So let's stop using this as some sort of proof text, teaching people that the Bible teaches and encourages believers to pray for. This is historical to a post-exilic period for Jews living outside of the area, making pilgrimages to Jerusalem. So that's something that we should keep in mind. Every single time you look at some sort of wrong doctrine or wrong practice in the church, it's always related to how people interpret scripture. If you ever want to correct something, go back to what is the actual meaning here, right? So So we've got.
Yeah, Met's going to see a problem with that too, because we have good people that's looking at passages and attempting to say what's the actual meaning here. That's why Johnny Mack, when talking about Genesis 6, say that that is one of the hardest passages that scholars throughout the years been attempting to understand. And they've come with three possible meanings.
Got that out of the way. Let me read this. This doesn't mean that we shouldn't pray for Jerusalem's peace or the peace of any nation for that matter. But to be clear, the text is not instructing Christians to pray for Jerusalem at all.
All right, wait a minute here. Somebody get Slick on here right now. Slick shots fired. She blown at your head. She ain't worried about you got no vest on. She default disrespectful over here. Well, if you're claiming Israel and you're in exile, shouldn't you pray for the peace of your homeland? Fervent charity, Israel descent?
It's not written to us. In fact, since we understand the full implications of peace as being the enmity that sin created between God and man, which Jesus mediated. He brokered peace between God the Father and us. That means Jesus mediated through his death at the cross. That means that he is the means by which sinful man can be reconciled to God. And so if you want to pray for the peace of Jews, really what that would really look like is a gospel prayer, is my point. That is, may they find true shalom with God through faith in Christ. Because it's not about peace in any particular city. The ultimate idea, the consummating idea of peace is embodied in the person and work of Jesus. So much so that he is called the Prince of Peace, right? And so true shalom is about right relationship with God on the basis of Jesus's atoning sacrifice. So he brokers in his own sacrificial life and death. He brokers a renewed relationship between God and man because sin had fractured that relationship. And so he creates reconciliation. And so if you're really interested in praying for the peace of Jews, as in unbelieving Jews, those who have not come to faith in Christ, well, that would be a gospel prayer. That has really nothing at all to do with where they live, since Jews live all over the world, right? They live all over the world. There's more Jews in New York than there are in Jerusalem, right? So if rightly understanding peace, if you want to pray for that, then that's how you should be praying, right? So you should be praying that unbelieving Jews would believe on Jesus, a Jewish Messiah, and have peace, that is right relationship with God through his son. That is, if you're really interested in praying for Israel's peace. So that's one thing. Let's tackle for a few minutes the idea that praying for Israel guarantees anyone a blessing from God. I really want to get to that idea, because again, a lot of that is the modus operandi. It is the very motive behind a lot of this theology that's really centered around Israel priority or proto-Israel kind of thinking. It really doesn't have Israel in mind as much as it has itself in mind, or its own nation in mind, right? How could God bless me, right? Well, then this is the way to it. So it becomes part of one of the many formulas for blessing. What's the way to be blessed? Well, it's to do this. It's to give. you know, as many people giving a tithe, and God will turn around and bless you. He's obligated to bless you if you tithe. And then you've got people who will add to that, yeah, and he's also obligated to bless you if you bless Israel. So let me point out in the Old Testament, especially as you look through Numbers and you look through Deuteronomy, and even Exodus. And I could have pulled up a number of those scriptures, but for the sake of time, let me just kind of walk you through it. You will find passages where Yahweh is promising to bless nations based on their support or their how they would deal with his called out nation of people, right? If you treat them good, I'll treat you good. But that also has to be understood in context. And let me help you to understand that. So Israel went through, when we talk about the nation of Israel, you have to talk about the nation of Israel in its different phases historically. So in the Exodus phase, that is, or the post-Exodus phase, when God calls them out of Egypt through Moses, and they spend 40 years in the wilderness and ultimately enter into the land of Canaan through Joshua. But that period there where they are in the wilderness, as it were, you'll hear the various nations in this area referred to as the ancient Near East. And so you've got a number of ancient Near Eastern nations, the Canaanites, the Philistines. You know, you've got even the Babylonians, which were even further east. You've got all these different nations of people in this particular area, and they were very similar in culture, right? Different and yet similar. And so Israel as a nation essentially comes out of the ancient Near Eastern cultural context, and so they are not all that different in many ways in terms of their worldview, their perspectives, their ideas, and all these different kinds of things. They're not very, very different, but they grow to become different because Yahweh calls them out as a nation. And as they are walking through many of these areas in their sojourn through the wilderness, you have to understand how them coming into sovereign boundaries and areas would have been viewed as a hostility. And so in many instances, as we read those texts, they were attacked. They were attacked by Midianites. They were attacked by Amalekites. They were attacked by Philistines and many of these different groups. And historically, rightly so, because you've got tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of people passing through sovereign boundaries. That's just like Russia entering into our airspace, right? That jet fighter is going to hear a message to turn around and exit our airspace. You have exactly 2 minutes to do so, or you will be shot down, right? Because it is a hostility to do so. And so in many of those instances, they were attacked. And so in that context, Yahweh put it out there to many of those nations that if they would treat the Israelites as they pass through hospitably, if they would treat them kindly, if they would be a blessing to them rather than to do harm, that I'll bless you. If you just treat my people good, I'll make sure that you get a blessing. So it has to be understood that that is contextual to not only that time period, but to that situation in life What was going on that that was the premise, if you will, for Yahweh to actually bless people for their treatment of Israel? That was what premised it. You can't take that and then carry that forward thousands and thousands of years later and then try to make that stick and make that apply to the U.S. or to individual Christians, who, well, if we just support Israel, God will bless us. No, it doesn't work that way. That's not how it works, right? So we do find in the Old Testament a blessing that Yahweh would bring upon nations for their hospitable treatment of Israel as they passed through, right? If you're hospitable to them, I'll bless you, right? So let's not. So there is some basis for that thinking, but that thinking is rooted in a particular situation and historical context that it cannot be removed from, and it can't be applied to later, right? You can't take that and then apply it to any people, any situation, and anything now. And you certainly can't apply it to political Israel, because again, political Israel is not the same as covenant Israel. Ethnic covenant Israel is not the same as the Zion state of political Israel. So this notion that blessing Israel guarantees that God is going to bless you is really rooted in prosperity theology. It's no different than all of the word faith hustles, name it and claim it, or anything like that. It's no different from any of that. This idea that I can manipulate blessings, guarantee that they come to me by saying the right things, speaking the right mantras in scripture, or doing the right kinds of behaviors, I will guarantee that God will bless me, is really not really rooted in love for God, the worship of God, faithful obedience and covenantal relationship with God through his son Jesus. It's really rooted in a me-centric, humanistic desire to succeed, to consider materialism blessing. It's rooted in a self-centeredness, not a Christ-centeredness anyway, right? So that's another era of Israel priority kind of theology, is that it's premised on this idea that somehow blessing Israel guarantees that God will in reality bless us. But let's look at some of the other implications of that idea of trying to make a formula out of blessing Israel equals God blessing me, or God blessing us as a church, or us as a nation of people. So let's look at some of the other implications of why that idea is wrong. The first thing to note is that there are no formulas for blessing. So right off, that's it. There are no formulas for blessing. If you've been told that if you give 10% of your income faithfully, that is a formula for blessing, that is a lie. That is not a formula for blessing, right? There are no formulas for blessing.
Is there a formula for blessing? Keeping the commandments, the feast days, not sinning. Is there a formula? What causes one to be blessed?
Right. So notice what I said. There are no formulas for blessing. The Bible guarantees the believer spiritual blessings in Christ through our relationship with him, that we have been blessed with him with all spiritual blessings in the heavenlies, right? That's not simply a guarantee. That is the result of the full or the benefits of trusting in Christ. That's not a formula. That's not a formula, though, right? So that's the first thing, is that there are no formulas for blessing. The second thing is that if we carry the idea of if we bless Israel, God will bless us. If we carry that idea to its furthest point, listen to this. If we carry it to its furthest point, it suggests that any ungodly person, any ungodly nation can show Israel support of any kind and prosper. I want you to sit with that for a couple of seconds. Because if that is the formula, it would have to hold that regardless of who it is, be they an ungodly person or an ungodly nation, if we just treat Israel good, God will bless us. That's the problem with creating those kinds of formulas there, right? So that could not possibly be true. The third thing is that the idea of, well, if we bless Israel, God will bless us, it falsely suggests that God prospered America for showing Israel support. But this logic sees economic wealth as an indicator of true blessing. That's an idea that Scripture itself disagrees with.
Now, in the New Testament disagrees with it. In the Old Testament, to show someone was blessed. Let the scholars speak.
And so we have to be careful how we even understand prosperity or even understand blessing, right? And so because the church has embraced an American prosperity kind of idea, that's what's behind the capitalistic kind of fervor of American kind of Christianity. It gets a lot of that from American culture, right? So our ideas about prosperity are rooted in economic wealth. It is rooted in the idea that material wealth equals blessing. But if you really read the New Testament very carefully, you'll find New Testament writers saying godliness with contentment is blessing, not material wealth. That's not really true blessing. So that very idea, runs afoul of what we read in Scripture. This whole notion that, well, the reason that God prospers America and looks after America is because of its way of supporting Israel, standing up for Israel. So as long as it doesn't matter how ungodly this nation is, as long as this nation continues to support Israel, God's going to make sure that we have economic wealth, which again, it sees as an indicator of true blessing. So that's another false implication of that kind of idea. The fourth one, I would say, is one to specifically pay attention to. And to believe that if you bless Israel, God will bless you, to believe that also falsely suggests this, that although God punished Israel for her own violations of his word, so if we think about ethnic Israel in the Old Testament under the Old Covenant, you will read about time after time after time after time, God chastising Israel and warning them through his prophets about Israel's transgressions, the way that they treated widows, the way that they treated women, especially those who were divorced or widowed, the poor, their oppression, the injustices with regard to the poor, their disobedience to Yahweh, their shallow, half-hearted worship, the ceremonialism. You worship me with your mouth, but your heart is far from me. And he says, take these feasts away. I don't even want them because they're just really symbol. They're not really rooted in true worship, right? And so you hear Yahweh chastising Israel constantly through prophets of even how many of their priests and teachers were becoming economically prosperous off of the backs of oppression, right? So I want you to hear this. I want you to think about this. God punished Israel for their violations of his word, and to believe that somehow, if I bless Israel, God will bless me. You have to then turn around and believe that God will somehow overlook those same violations in other nations and in individuals, and somehow bless those people and those nations in spite of, or as long as they show political, military, and spiritual support for Israel. I don't know if you understood that right. So let me break it down like this. When God chastised Israel, he didn't chastise them and bless them at the same time. When they were in error, he chastised them. He would even raise up other nations to chastise them for their disobedience of his word, right? And as I spelled out, there were all types of violations of his word. To believe this notion that if I bless Israel, God will bless me, you have to then turn around and think that the very people who think that way, or even the very nations that think that way, that they could get away with doing the same things that Yahweh chastised ethnic covenant Israel over. They could get away with it and yet still be blessed, because the whole workaround is, well, all we got to do is bless Israel and God will bless us. Well, if Yahweh didn't bless Israel when they violated, how is he going to bless some other nation or some other person for also violating in the very same areas that he chastised his own covenant ethnic people, called out people? He chastised them for those very things. So how do you come up with this idea that, okay, so let me give it to you straight, right? God chastised ethnic covenant Israel for injustices that had to do with slavery, oppressing the poor, housing, taking away people's land, taking away their homes, greed, lack of mercy, lack of hospitality. Well, listen, I mean, if you're living here, the story of America is replete with those kind of violations. Till, as one boxer said, till this day, it is replete with those kind of violations. Economic oppression, economic disparities that are all rooted in systemic and structural racism. On and on and on and on and on. So Yahweh is supposed to overlook that as long. You know how arrogant you got to be to believe that? And yes, this nation is a very arrogant nation. God bless America. What? In spite of that this nation can participate by law in legally not only enslaving, but creating black laws and Jim Crow laws, and then even beyond the black and the Jim Crow laws, still pushing policies and systems that ensure the economic oppression of an entire, the discrimination of entire groups of people. Not even just African Americans, but even your indigenous Native American people. And yet all American folk got to do, especially the Christian folk, is just be a blessing, be kind to political Israel. And then will be blessed in spite of us actually violating and being guilty of all the very same kind of things that God chastised ethnic covenant Israel over. Right? How they treated people that came in their borders, the lack of mercy, the lack of hospitality. I can go on and on and on and read all of these texts. And yet God would send prophet after prophet telling them that these are the things that he's upset with them about. And yet you're telling me that your theology allows you to believe that regardless of those things, as long as you bless Israel, God will bless you. Be that individual, be that church, or be that nation. As long as you are favorable, here's what God's going to do. That's how wrong that is. That is how wrong that is. And further, let me go into saying this, because it ought to be said. Political Israel supports policies that Yahweh also judged ethnic covenant Israel over. Till this very day, political Israel supports racial and discriminatory practices against some of its own citizens, namely those that emigrated to Israel from Ethiopia. They support policies. This is not conspiracy theory. This is fact. They support policies that actually contribute to the sterilization of Ethiopian Jews to ensure that they can't essentially it's genocide. Because if you destroy a people's ability to grow, to become a people, to prosper as a group of people, to give birth, you essentially create an ethnic kind of cleansing and a genocide. Further, they support housing and limiting where many of those people can actually live, housing discrimination. Like there are actually policies and laws that do that in political Israel. Well, you know what? Now it's starting to make sense why some folk in America and even American Christians would be so fond of Israel. Because it did the very same thing, and it does the very same thing. It finds no. It's so interesting that the people who have this blessed Israel, this Israel priority theology, this pro-Israel, political Israel kind of theology, are the very same kind of people who deny that systemic racism even exists. That these are the very same people running around talking about CRT and wokeism and all kinds of other stuff. The very same people. So it doesn't surprise me, because these are the same kind of folk who are constantly looking for ways to establish their dominion and their superiority on the basis of material and economic wealth. Because they
give me the IURC video. Who keep talking about it? You play IURC video. Let me see what I got here. Continue browser. What I got going on here? All right, we can close all this up. All right, let me see something. Let me let it play whilst I'm looking. I'm sorry, y'all know I'm in and out. I'm
they
just
think that is God's stamp of blessing. Oh, America's the mightiest nation in the world. We're the most prosperous nation in the world. That's the evidence that God has blessed us.
No, I'm trying to get it delivered. I'm trying to lay off of the ice cream, but I'm just going to get a little bit delivered. I was trying to see what time they can. I want to wait too late. Start getting dark early now.
But if you believe that economic wealth is an indicator of God's blessing, then I guess every drug dealer in the world is blessed. I guess every person that traffics humans for slavery or even sexual trafficking, I guess, you know, and they're making billions off of that. I guess they're blessed too. I guess all the folk who scam people out of millions and millions and millions of dollars, I guess they're blessed too, because the indicators of God's blessing is supposed to be material and economic.
Oh, I was doing it on the other computer. I'm sorry. They people that hit my phone complaining. You walked away and left this thing playing. Why you left us with this guy? Oh man, y'all something else. We'll start back on. And I spoke to Bishop Sister. Boy, that's a whole nother thing right there. Let me get off this phone call Seminary Cove and them. At least I can call some people now. I done turned my phone off. My phone was off. I said that phone was off for, those were for a couple of weeks. Yeah, most drug dealers are broke. That's correct. That's correct. Oh man, it's a lot. We'll talk later. We're gonna do. I'm not gonna even get into the whole thing. I'll probably do the first. Like I got 17 slides to the side on the Bible and the occult. Yep. That's gonna be an interesting one. Matter of fact, I'm gonna go ahead and finish up them last couple of pages in that Aquarian gospel. We're gonna lay into that. We're gonna deal with the wise men, the Magi, Daniel interpreting scripture, people burning sage and stuff being burnt in the temple. It's a whole bunch to deal with. Who were them wise men? Joseph and his cup of divination. Was it the diet of Daniel? Oh, I done been with them mystics. Oh, I'm going to give y'all a little Hinduism. I'm going to give y'all a little stuff they gave me. We're going to spread it all out. Oh, yeah, we might as well. Ain't no sense in playing no games. We're going to spread it all out. Jesus and the occult. That's going to be a 7-part series, but I'm going to do the first. I'll probably start the other one tomorrow morning. I don't know if we're going to start off with Jesus. Where did Jesus learn? And then we're getting stolen legacy in Samaria, not out of Africa, and you know what a lot of people think. Y'all gonna get a good bit of Freemasonry too in the history of Freemasonry. Like Mary Lefkowitz said, is it lore that these people receive this stuff? You'll be surprised how many people in this country alone believe that Jesus went and studied in Egypt. He learned in Egypt, and I'm going to show y'all pastors, preachers, recognized preachers back in the days that taught this and where these books come from. We got to deal with some of all of that. Yeah, we got to get back to it. All right. Anything else in closing? Let me put a link out there in case somebody want to jump. All right, hold on. I hit my phone. In case somebody else want to jump on. Oh no, that's Instacart. All right, it's almost time. That's Bishop Sister. Oh yeah, we're gonna have to straighten that out. I'm gonna have to help her too. We're gonna hit y'all with some. We're gonna hit y'all. Did God have a wife? We're gonna try to straighten that out. But I'm gonna pick up from what happened in the meditation and carrying on what they were doing over there when the girl said, "What type of Christian are you?" Because we got different types of Christians out here. I mean, we got different types of Christians, and we're gonna go through it all, and we're just gonna revisit some stuff and some comments that people like Bart Ehrman's been making. Hold on, go ahead. You bought a computer?
Yeah, I'm on a computer.
Oh, you want to put your screen up?
Well, I don't know.
Don't act like you. Let me kick up dispensational Tim. They might got some time. Don't make me get to call on some folk.
Oh,
I might not got everybody name by their number, but don't make me get to call on some folk. If you're gonna get in here and get to acting ignorant.
Cause we do gotta touch on. I think it's like one thing we do have to touch on is Jewish thought.
I was going to come on here and talk something about that Trump and why she's excited. And why do y'all see it? Hey, yo, listen, little mama said the same Jehu thing. That sister, she said the same thing. She just said the same thing. They watching the same channel. Unbelievable. Go ahead. I'm sorry, I'm muting myself.
Yeah, we gotta also, I think we do have to touch on some like Jewish thought to see
what do you mean Jewish thought? Because we already told these people the Jews back in the days met. Everybody already saying the Jews back in the days wasn't moving like a lot of people. We bloodline can't nobody else, and this is what is made. And this awakening here in America is different. It's different. They don't. These folks don't even want to convert. Plus, they want to say who else is fake over there. Sometimes DNA look like it's riding with them, but it's riding with the fake people too. Then they want to backpedal. I don't know. Go ahead. What do you think?
Yeah, because what's authentic? How deep should we go? What's what? And I think, Brent, we do got to touch on with Israelites.
The traditions of the rabbis.
Yes, but then with Israelites,
they're talking about. I read Acts 6. Let me get to Acts 15 right now. They're gonna make me open up. They're gonna make me crack this other thing open right here. Because they get to saying, oh, this stuff, that was the tradition, and what them people follow. Are they following some tradition? Are they following some Talmud? Are they following them folk over there in Israel, the same people they're talking about? How much of this awakening doctrine come from them people? Get slick back on here. Read some of these folk.
I trust God, my Savior, the one who will never fail. He will never fail. Hey, God. Brent, what did you remember? Do you remember Little Mother talking like this 4 years ago when Biden was elected?
I can't. Let me think. You might have to refresh my memory. Did she? Little Mother? You heard the question. Because I'm working. I didn't want to talk in front of Little Mother when the other brothers start asking about Shem, Ham, and Japheth and all. Oh, yep. She said, yep. Here it is. Then she telling other people receive it. Now she in here like celestial. Oh, man. She ain't like Biden. What's she saying? Sleepy, what she? Hold on. Let me see what my thing's saying. All right, but no. Go ahead. Let me close that thing down, too. Oh, I can't see the other screen. Did I put him out? I just put Dunamis out? Oh, man, hold on. Let me just see something. The realness, what's good? I don't know. Maybe I will start that thing tomorrow. Let me see if I got this Aquarian gospel highlighted. And then we're gonna talk about that. All right. We shut it down, y'all. All right, God bless. I'm glad to be back. I missed y'all. The real test gonna happen Monday. Let's see if it's gonna take 9 days, 3 days, 5 days, or 4 hours. Lord Jesus, take the wheel.